Hello race fans, Peter MacKay here, welcoming you to the PorscheSport Carrera Cup live from Interlagos in Brazil. It has been an incredible season so far here in the PorscheSport Carrera Cup with frantic heat racing all across the globe. We were at Imola last time out and well, it did not disappoint. Joining me in the commentary box today is my esteemed colleague Soumil Arora. Soumil, we had a wonderful time at Imola. Another tricky circuit, another technical circuit today at Interlagos. What do you expect from our drivers today?
Some absolute carnage and some absolute drama, Peter. This circuit Interlagos, as I've said time and again, it just never fails to disappoint. Unlike the last time out, this circuit is not very tight and twisty everywhere. I mean, after the long run from Yunsa all the way to the Senna S's, you have a prime overtaking opportunity, and even after the Senna S's, you have a big run heading into the season at Interlagos. So there's going to be overtakes galore, and the racing right here, oh, it's going to be nothing short of a classic.
Absolutely, and we've had quite a schedule of races as well, going to some of the finest circuits in the world. We went to Nürburgring, the Road America, Imola last time out, and today Interlagos. And just 3 rounds left of the season after this one. We go to Montreal next time out on the 20th September, Zandvoort in Holland, and finally the season finale at Spa-Francorchamps. But it's Alexander Teeb for Team Redline who leads on 302 points from Maxim Ramstein for HM Engineering. And as you can see, it's really a 2-horse race now between those two men. But as we've also seen in this particular series, anything can happen. A frantic heat race format which always throws up unpredictable racing. Let's have a look then at the team standings and see how they look as well. HM Engineering out front on 424 points, with Team Redline on 302, and that's Alexander Teeb all on his own. 302 points, doing a bit of a Marc Marquez there, with RaceKraft Esports in third on 237. So the battle in the mid-pack certainly frantic there as well, but HM Engineering out front, Kieran Harrison and Maxim Ramstein leading the way right now. So our drivers just getting through qualifying right now, trying to get their grid spots for this opening heat race here in the PorscheSport Carrera Cup. So our format then, fast and furious, 10 minutes of solo qualifying and then 2 heat races of 20 minutes each. So in each heat race, and the top 10 in that race go straight forward to the feature race, and the 20 cars out with the top 10 have to go into the notorious consolation race. 40 cars, only 10 cars getting through to the 30 car feature. So it's fast and frantic, and as we've seen so many times, Soumil, the battle for the lead has been frantic, but particularly the battle for that top 10 bubble has been the one to watch.
Oh yes indeed, because in this race only the top 10 advance to the feature race directly. All the other drivers, Peter, they just have to go the long way around in the consolation race. And considering all the drama that can happen over there, I mean 40 cars together in one consolation race with only 10 going ahead. So even though you may be the best of those drivers, the chances are still pretty slim. The tide is against you. So you want to nail things down and get yourself in directly through the first heat race. And that's not going to be a very easy task, mind you, Peter, because the quality of these drivers, I mean, we've got some absolute gems of drivers right here. We've got the likes of Maxim Ramstein, Alexander Teeb, Justin Tipton, Anders Meyer, Kieran Harrison, some proper top names running around right here. And yeah, on the whole, Peter, this just promises to be a brilliant race. And I'm going to say as ever, because every single time we've had a race here in the PorscheSport Carrera Cup, it has just been insane.
It really has as well. I see we're riding on board with Dylan Bursch right now. Just look how busy he is on the steering wheel here. Brilliant shots thanks to our producer Hugo Luis. A home race for him. Of course, he's based out in Rio. This is the Interlagos in Sao Paulo. But look at Dylan Bursch working the wheel, just chopping it back, left, right. And that gives you a good indication, Soumil, just how lively these cars are. Of course, nearly 500 horsepower. No traction control, no anti-lock brakes, and of course that unique rear engine layout. And they grab your attention, and here at Interlagos we can get high track temperatures quite a lot of the time, makes it quite slippy, and yeah, very, very technical as we can see here, and a really, really tricky layout. But we saw ominously after his race win last time out at Imola, Alexander Teeb telling us that Interlagos is one of his favourite circuits, and for the rest of the runners that must be quite a scary prospect.
That is quite a scary prospect. Alexander Teeb has just been like Godzilla in this series, doing such a good job. But, well, we've got quite a few other drivers fighting him as well, because Maxim Ramstein in HM Engineering, he's been taking the candle to him, he's been taking the fight to him. and these two guys have been fighting so hard. Yes, sadly Ramstein couldn't exactly get in the top 2 the last time out. He ended up finishing in P number 3 in the feature. But when these two guys get going, well, you can surely expect some fireworks. And this car, Peter, it just requires so much delicacy while driving, so much clinicalness in your approach, because if you get the throttle even slightly wrong, you're in trouble.
You certainly are. So let's see how they line up then for the opening heat. Maxim Ramstein, the very man, puts it, he's on pole position for this opening heat with Dylan Burst in second spot. Anders Meyer will line up alongside Quentin Vialati on row 2. On row number 3 will be Sam Koiter and Gavin Halls from PorscheSport. Artem Grabau and Lewis Ward will be on row number 4. Ryan Parkins, the King Hippo himself, will roll off from 9th alongside Tobias Meisel. Oscar Wilkins and Ivo Laubscher will occupy row number 6. Row 7 will be Martin Donati and Clement Andreot, the teammates there together. Nelson Costa de Souza and Mark Jones will roll out on row number 8. Row 9 will be Jordan Pierce and Carl Waltfist. And finally, Jack Wilson and Alex Crater will round out the top 20 cars. So 10 cars to go through. 10 cars to go through the consolation race. And as we've seen, Soumil, that is not where you want to be.
That is surely not where you want to be. There are a few added advantages here and there of being in the consolation race, but on the whole, if you ask every single one of these drivers where would they like to be, they'll surely say in the top 10 in the heats.
Absolutely they would, no doubt about it. That is where they want to be. We look at Maxim Ramstein, HM Engineering ace, who's been such a standout talent in this particular championship, and he's sitting there in that lovely red and black HM Engineering Porsche 911, ready to go, and having pulled the pole position here, very important indeed. There's Anders Meyer, the Team Bergen driver, who's been very impressive from time to time throughout this championship as well. And Sam Koiter not far behind him as well. So we were just waiting for our drivers to go up, and we will be ready to go in just a few moments. Green, green, green then, here at Interlagos, and we are off in the PorscheSport Carrera Cup. Down they go then towards turn 1. It's very, very tight through here, and it's not a good start at all from Maxim Ramstein.
Oh dearie me, he's fallen back to the order. Senner's can be a tricky corner, and for him, he has learned this thing the hard way around. But at the top, Vialati dominating, but there are battles going side by side. Look at this, for the lead then, Vialati and Burst.
Yeah, absolute carnage here at Interlagos, and the number 991 then going down into around they go then. It's just so tight heading into the middle part of the circuit now. It's just Maxim Ramstein, he's now already back to 5th place, so he'll just need to take his time to pick his way through the field. Oh, look at that, Sam Koiter up to 3rd place as well. Oh, they all get through cleanly. This is what we've come to see. And Gavin Halls, great start from him, he's in 6th spot as well. Brilliant job from the PorscheSport driver.
Oh, he's taking things up a notch, Gavin Halls. He's doing such an excellent job right here. But Sam Koiter also looking to go around the outside. And this battle for the lead, Peter. Dylan Burst and Quentin Vialati. We've not seen them fight for the win quite often, but there is a crash. While one PorscheSport driver is doing an excellent job, it's the 38 car spilling round and round, Peter.
Yeah, that's Gavin Halls after such a good start. Let's see what happens to former Formula Ford racer. Does he get a help? I wonder if he does or not. Let's see. He's got one of the Team Wild Animals cars behind, and that's never a good thought. Yes, he does. Just the slightest of tap there, and that is enough in one of these machines to get a little bit of a... Oh, and he gets a big old hit there from the 46 of Ivo Laubscher. And a little bit of rough and tumble there, but Ryan Parkins. Oh, Sam Koitert's in the sandwich there, and look at Maxim Ramstein round the outside. My goodness me, is this go-kart racing or Porsche racing? This is unbelievable. 4 wide they go. Wow, look at this. Who's going to make it through cleanly? They all do by some form of miracle. Sam Koiter, he was racing a Formula 3 car last night, Porsche this tonight, but wow, this is amazing. Sam Koiter flashing the lights. Remember, it's a Porsche you're driving, not a BMW, Sam.
And Sam Coiter for the WIP Volante team trying to make his way up into P number 2. He's been excellent so far, just carving his way past. But now then he has a tough cookie right ahead of him because, well, Violate right now as well, he will not let him go past too. And Maxim Ramstein, Peter, at the center S's, he was just going so wide on the exit, as wide as a Ford Mustang at the end of a car meet, and he kept it clean somehow. Now though, Maxim Ramstein finds himself in number 4, but it's Sam Coiter trying to make his way up into P2 now.
Look at how much room these drivers take on the entry there into the final corner of Zhongkao. Wow, that is really, really amazing. They're using every last inch of the track to get that nice shallow entry into the corner. But Maxim Ramstein, we've not really seen him have to do this, Soumil. He's normally been breaking away at the front as one of the Wild Animals cars goes into pit lane to get repair. Not a good start for them. Down that is the number 43 of Artem Grabau. Well, he's nicknamed the Lawmaker. Well, this is not a law that he would like. I think he's been given a drive-through, actually, it looks like.
Yeah, I think that was for the incident with Gavin Holt. So Artem Grabau, the winner of the consolation race last time out, sadly having a tough start for this one.
Yeah, certainly indeed. So the Lawmaker has felt the wrath of the law, though the irony. So riding on board with the 729 of Maxim Ramstein, second in the championship, don't forget. But he has got fellow Dutchman Sam Coiter in front of him in the WIP.com machine. Takes a nice wide entry and then tucks it back to the apex. Such a technical circuit here at Interlagos. Now, looks like they're maybe just pulling in Dylan Burst ever so slightly, but over these 15 minutes, the remaining in this race, they'll have to work together to try and get up to Dylan Burst. If they start bickering, if they start fighting, that's going to allow Burst to escape and win this opening heat.
Exactly, and more importantly, Peter, it gives him a better qualifying position for the feature race. And yes, you may say Interlagos is a circuit wide open, but being in the top position, it does allow you to have a major advantage, especially in that tricky middle sector where anything can go wrong. I mean, just ask Lewis Hamilton and Alex Albon from last November. Now then, Violate is under pressure from Sam Coiter. He's defending well, but Coiter wants to attack. To the outside he goes. Ramstein is looking for something as well. Here we come then, door to door. They make contact. They're still clean though. Coiter to the inside and Violate almost concedes, or does he? And now Ramstein joins this party. They're still going side by side, Peter, heading towards the Interlagos. And now Ramstein is going to make it 3 wide.
Oh, this is so tight. How many times have you seen it? Oh, Coiter! Oh, that's cheeky. That is very cheeky there from Sam Coiter. That's not on. As we say, Soumil, that is not cricket to do that, to just run right across in front of somebody and snip the nose off. Not, I have to say, not impressed with that from Sam Coiter.
And in all that battle, Maxim Ramstein has got 2 positions for himself. Now we see Violate trying to go to the outside, and that just allows Coiter to make his nose down. And here comes Violate down the inside. Sheesh, that was risky. And they still don't make contact. So it's Ramstein ahead of Coiter and then Violate. And then we've got a few more other cars joining this party as well, Peter. So they're thinking, yeah, you guys are having all the fun. Why don't we join this party as well and come on with some drinks?
Well, apparently there seems to be plenty room for it as well. Oh no, King Hippo's off! King Hippo's had a problem. It looks like quite significant contact there. Ryan Parkins in the number 225 PorscheSport machine. Let's get a little bit of a replay here. So, what's going to happen? We've got Nelson Costa de Souza in the 919. Oh, and he just gets unceremoniously punted off. So, this is the series sponsor, guys. Stop being mean to them.
Well, absolutely. You're not really putting them in a very good light, are you, with all those accidents? But that's what happens, right, Peter? The middle sector is so tight and twisty, so narrow, that even if you're slightly uncommitted or not unsure about that move, you can just put your nose in the wrong place, and well, that is exactly what happens in that case. But look at Coiter and Ramstein, both of them going wide on the AstroTurf. You know what, Peter? If you go out there, that car can snap on you rather hard. So just the fact that these guys are able to keep it clean and on track is quite a testament to their ability.
Absolutely, a lot to do with the ability, but also a lot of them racing for proper professional sim racing teams as well, where they all work together to get that perfect setup. And with this particular car, the setup is so important to calm it down. It's a bit of a wild animal, but it can be tamed both by setup and by driving skill as well. Well, tell you what a horrible start for the PorscheSport drivers. PorscheSport has become Albon Sport.
Shades of 2019 coming into perspective here in Interlagos, and as they go past the Beak of the Powder corner, the very tricky Duck's Bill, that's what they call it, that corner right there, it can be a rather tricky one to negotiate, especially if you're putting in a half-hearted move. But now, Peter, we've got quite a few cars in this pack. Now we're seeing the likes of Ramstein, Coulthard, Violate, Meyer and Lewis Ward be ever so close to each other. All that while, it is still in burst with a gap of, 3.133 seconds at the top. I've seen some dominating performances in my time, but in a heat race with only 9 minutes in, that is mighty good.
Yeah, he's just been able to escape, I think, with the battling that's been going on behind. That has been really, really important to Dylan Burst's escape, but he has taken advantage of it. It's very easy when you get that, to get excited when you get that clean gap and then make a mistake, but he has not made one single mistake. But look at this. This is a Dutch battle going on here. Coulthard versus Ramstein, and Coulthard goes up the inside. Great move on the brakes. Can he hold it down? No. Ramstein goes for the cutback, but Coulthard opens up the power on the artificial grass. Oh my word, that's bad manners. Oh wow. Violate, yeah, flashing the lights. We'll allow him that one. Flashing the lights. Violate just barges him off the track. Wow, that was feisty.
That was feisty. From the looks of things, you can certainly tell that after the end of this race, they're not going to be sitting together in the same room and have a nice sip of wine. They will be giving the death stares to each other after that incident. And now then, it's Martin Donati, one of the Alcantech Formula Evo and Formula Pro drivers, I beg your pardon, fighting it out with the PorscheSport driver. That is the number 225. Donati goes down to the inside, so that's a good one by him right there. And we'll quickly come back to who that is, folks. That is going to be Ryan Parkins. So they're still going side by side. Parkins goes to the outside, gets the position in for Yunsao. And Donati could have a rather superb run then. What can Parkins do? Can he defend like a man? Can he hold this position in? Tell you what though, Peter, the incoming challenge is going to be quite epic.
Yeah, it is. And the PorscheSport guys have had a really good pace so far. Ryan Parkins and Gavin Halls, they've been working actually together with Alexander Teeb on their setups as well, so they've enlisted the help of the Team Redline ace, and yeah, it seems to be working right now. Now this is the bubble battle, so the top 10, don't forget, the top 10 from this race get automatic entry into the critical feature where all the big points are handed out. And well, this is the difference. This is drop day here. So Donati versus Parkins. Ryan Parkins, of course, the inaugural Porsche Club of Great Britain sim racing champion, hence the name King Hippo. That's where he got that from as well. It is a longer story than that, Soumil, but with racing as frantic as this, no time to tell the story. But Ryan, really a real specialist in this particular car as well, and driving his socks off right now, despite that impact with now I've even forgotten who it was now. I can't remember. That's terrible. But anyway, he's not letting it get to him, and he's really holding that down, that 10th position well. But back at the front, well, what a battle here. Coulthard, Anders Meyer, Quentin Violate, and I suspect if Sam Coulthard can get in touching distance of Quentin Violate, I suspect some revenge may be dished out.
Yeah, exactly. Coulthard will not be letting him go oh so easily. But first, he has to pass Anders Meyer. I tell you what though, Anders Meyer is no slouch. You've seen him put some incredible performances in this series so far. Now, can he defend from one raging Sam Coulthard? We know for a fact that when the Dutch drivers get really excited and really angry, they're going to go for some properly hard lunges. Now then, Coulthard seems to be the man of the moment. But then, we're on board with Anders Meyer himself, descending into the aptly named Interlagos, because of course Interlagos is named as between the lakes. And from the looks of things, Peter, Maxim Ramstein has just opened up the gap that little bit too much. So with all the battling going on, we can't see him capitalize a little bit too much, and you kind of get a feeling, had it not been for those incidents early on, this man right here could perhaps be closing up to Dylan Burst and making this a two-way fight for the lead.
Yeah, I think you're right. Oh, we got a spinner. Who's this? Alex Crater. My goodness me, well, he'll made a crater in his tyres there after that mistake. Wow. Let's see what's happened here. It looks like just coming out where are we now? Oh, just on the bang! Oh, straight into the wall. Oh my, we made a crater in the wall too. Gee whiz, that was a big one. And we just saw the port. He's back to 15th position now. He's got Ivo Laubscher in front of him in the very brightly coloured number 46 machine. Got one of the Team Cast cars of Clement Andriot behind there, Mark Jones as well. So it's frantic all the way back down the pack. But speaking of frantic, here it's Quentin Violati and Anders Meyer. But Anders Meyer is in the draft, but Violati has to go to the inside. Can Meyer go round the outside? Oh, no. Violati, well, I have to give the benefit of the doubt for now, Soumil, but it looked like maybe Violati could have maybe locked up there, but interesting to see what the stewards think of that one. How do you see it?
Yeah, that I can comment after this replay. So the 991 and the 20 go side by side. You know what? It's a tricky one, to be honest with you, because Anders Meyer, he's trying to go the long way around, so he knows something like this could be possible if the 991 doesn't exactly turn in. But Violati as well just seemed to lose his braking a tiny bit. Perhaps he just lost the line a little bit over there. So he goes to the outside naturally. But here is Meyer, slow-mo camera. Perhaps Violati should have turned in a little bit too early on.
Yeah, Violati was certainly never making that corner, that's for sure. He was going to go off, and he effectively used Anders Meyer as a bit of a brake there.
Brake pad.
Yeah, that's not what we like to see, to be honest. And of course, that's the second incident. Of course, he barged Sam Kuijtert wide as well. And
there's some news, Peter.
Oh, go on. Yes, tell me.
The live stewarding have been rather quick with the way they've operated, and Quentin Violati already has a drive-through penalty.
I have to say it's hard to argue with that call. Never making the corner, didn't give the room, and it looked actually, it would be interesting to see an onboard with his steering input. It looked like he was moving across on the braking, which of course is not a big no-no. Once you're braking, you've got to hold the car straight if you can. And yeah, I have to say you can't allow those sort of incidents to happen. Anders Meyer did nothing wrong, certainly, and it's spoiled a good result for him. For Sam Kuijtert, that's an absolute dream for him as well. He'll move up to a safe third position right now. And Maxim Ramstein in second. He will also, as we see, Ryan Parkin's on the charge now, up to 9th spot, and he's got Nelson Costa de Souza. Now remember, it was Nelson that gave him the little bit of the love tap and spun him round earlier on. So I suspect he will not be giving any quarter to Nelson de Souza. As we see, a little bit of a slide there from Oscar Wilkins, but he hung on to it. Number 15 there, that's number 15, Tobias Meisel, battling side by side. Through they go then, and that's what this Interlagos circuit allows, Soumil, is this wonderful switchback racing.
Exactly, just the flow of the circuit is absolutely insane. And Oscar Wilkins and Tobias Meisel, well, they've been fighting a bit like Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, to be very honest with you. Just the way they've been trading blows ever since the start of the Senna S's is incredible. And it's a testament to the quality of the circuit. You can just go left and right back again and have multiple different lines to each corner. But at the right time, you have to back out. And here comes the critical corner for Tobias Meisel, the Yunsao corner. Because if you get a good run through this one, it is a mighty long straight to the Senna S's. What can Meisel do then? Now, mind you, the Carrera Cup car isn't exactly the most aero-reliant, so Meisel won't exactly be getting the biggest of effects from the draft, but one man who is using it to full advantage is Sam Kuijtert. Down the inside he goes, P3 for Kuijtert, nice and easy, job done.
Yeah, it's a strange one. Violati hasn't served his drive-through penalty yet. He will be getting notification of that. Runs wide again there, and with a drive-through penalty to serve, anything he does now will be scrutinised even further. And Quentin Violati, certainly, it's a dark car he's driving. Oh, dearie me! I thought Lewis Ward was going to run into the back of Violati there. Now, for Violati, he's got either he hasn't heard by now, but I suspect he will have. Oh dear! That is very close indeed. I think Violati's got to come in and serve this drive-through penalty, because any incident now with a drive-through penalty to serve, well, it's going to be even worse. Yeah, and we saw yesterday in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, drive-through penalties were the phrase of the day, shall we say?
Exactly, and you don't want to be like Nigel Mansell at the French Grand Prix in 1989 as well. If you get a penalty, you better serve it, unless otherwise, if you keep on racing, well, the implications are going to be just far worse. And Peter, just how close these cars are coming to each other is absolutely jaw-dropping. When they say come close to me, baby, and kiss me, they do not mean that in this way in the PorscheSport Cup cars. If you come close and kiss each other, we can see that time and again happening over here. They just spin around, and Violate now serves his drive-through penalty at the right time. Here he comes then. And this might feel excruciating for them because, of course, the Interlagos pit lane, not exactly the shortest in the world, is it?
No, and it's got quite an interesting exit, I should say. So just a little loss of tyre temperature. You're just going to be quite careful coming out here not to loop it into the wall. Oh, like so. See, there you go. That a big dab of oversteer there. He nearly put that in the wall, but wow. You've got to be very careful not to put a wheel on the inside. See? There you go. Who would have thought going out of pit lane would be so tricky? There you go. But Violate pushing 100%, knowing how important that is. Now, here's a perfect illustration. This is the battle for the top 10 for that entry into the feature race. So that him pushing as hard as he could through pit lane there, that is good. That could be the difference of him making it into the feature or having to go through the consolation.
Exactly, but if I'm Martin Donati, I frankly would not mind this position. Yeah, of course, on one side you want to be in that feature race from the very beginning. But crucially, Peter, in the consolation race, these drivers inherit the most recent track temperature and the most recent track conditions if they make it through the feature race. So the track keeps on evolving from one race to the other. If you're Martin Donati, if you go to the consolation race and if you win, not only do you get a really good qualifying position in the feature one, you also know exactly what the track conditions are like. And this track evolves also quickly. So for Donati, perhaps P11 might just be a blessing in disguise, you know?
Oh, I don't know. I tell you what, give me the feature race and a cup of tea in between any day of the week. I have to say, put the feet up and watch the consolation race. I'm sure it's much more enjoyable watching it than being in it. But yes, this like you say, that it's not all lost. Like you say, you do put yourself in the best. Your first. I hate the expression, but first loser, if you like, or first not to be promoted. So, but Quentin Violate, I think he'll probably pull away here from Martin Donati. Violate's been very, very fast and certainly ruffled a few feathers so far. But that little incident has allowed, well, Dylan Burst has put on a flawless performance. He's come out straight out the gate here. Number 68, of course, races Hyundai XLs in his native Queensland in Australia, so a little bit more of an exotic machine, this Porsche 911 GT3 Cup car. Interestingly, as we see, we're on the final lap now, so Dylan Burst coming around the final sector, and it has been an absolutely immaculate performance, and he will give himself the best possible grid position for the critical feature race. He flashes the lights coming up onto the home straight then. Dylan Burst, the number 68, is going to win the opening heat here in the PorscheSport Carrera Cup, with Maxim Ramstein a good chunk behind, but critically in second place to take his spot on the second row of the grid for the feature.
And we are just warming up, folks. This one was quite an entertaining race all the way around, but there is a lot more stuff going to come in right after that. Quentin Violate is going to be the last man qualifying for the feature race, even with that drive-through penalty. But I kind of had a feeling if it had not been for that, the battle in the top three would have been far more exciting. But here it is, folks, the end of the first heat race, and trust me, there's a lot more coming up in store for you.
There certainly is indeed, and yeah, interesting. Lewis Ward getting the last spot on the podium, the number 97 of Lewis Ward, the Englishman. Great drive from him. And Ryan Parkins, despite being spun around by Nelson Costa de Souza, gets through to the feature as well. So here's your winning order then. Dylan Burst winning by Maxim Ramstein in second spot. Sam Coiter was third with Lewis Ward in fourth. Anders Meyer was 5th, Oscar Wilkins 6th, Tobias Meisel was 7th, Ryan Parkins was 8th, Nelson Costa de Souza in 9th, and Quentin Violate was 10th. Martin Donati, Arten Gurabau, Gavin Halls, Ivan Lobsher, Alex Crater round out the top 15, with Clement Andriot in 16th. And Soumil, I think we are getting ready for our second heat.
Absolutely, then. It's one after the other one. Here is the starting grid on the screen for you.
So Alexander Teeb and Justin Tipton rolling off on the front row of the grid on this one. Kieran Harrison and Espen Erlandson in row 2 as well. So plenty of guns up there at the front as well. And we will be ready to roll off in just a short moment. Do not go anywhere. If you thought that was good, that first race, wait till you see these guys come out there as well. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Who's your pick for this one, Soumil?
That's going to be a tricky one. Well, for the win, it has to be Alexander Teeb. He's been the dominant driver from this particular lot. But behind, though, there are quite a few interesting drivers around as well. Interestingly, Bastien Martlo's joined the Monaco esports team. He starts in P number 11, Peter, and he's got quite a few fans in the chat waiting to see how he does. Let's keep a good eye on him.
Well, hello folks, I hope you're enjoying the coverage. This will be your first chance to see your man out there on track. Look out, big shout out to Dane Baird, resident rallycross expert in 20th place on the grid. Watch out for him, he's been out and about gallivanting this week. I'm not entirely sure where he's been or why, but I managed to moonlight for him a couple of times earlier this week. But our drivers are taking the grid, and we will be ready to go in no time at all here at Interlagos for the second heat of the PorscheSport Carrera Cup here. Very exciting stuff ahead, I am sure. Remember, the top 10 drivers in this race make their way through to the feature. So, green then in heat number 2 at Interlagos, and off we go then down towards turn 1.
Here we come, all nice and clean at the very start. So team maintains it from Justin Tipton, who is in second place in that pink liveried, pink wheel RaceKraft esports car. At the back, all nice and clean, and that is something that you expect from all these drivers. Kieran Harrison is in P number 3, and Robin Auslan from last week in Imola. He has not spun around, and that's a good place for him to be in. Here comes Tipton, ever so close, but T blocks it off. Then we have Harrison and Auslan. This right here, Peter, is going to be fun.
Yeah, Mr. Pink Wheels, Justin Tipton. Even when we have slight issues, we can always see Tipton out on the track. Those bright pink wheels, they do have their uses, Soumil, if not for style. So Alexander Teeb, winner last time out, championship leader, leads this race. Alexander Teeb, the world's fastest physiotherapist. That's his day job, but still manages 3 hours of practice a day.
That is insane, isn't it? The kind of effort and time that these guys put into sim racing, it's just beyond my thinking. I mean, if I put 3 hours on the sim every single day, my mum would give me a proper battering. But for these guys, well, it's like a second career pretty much. And here they come then past the Yunsao corner. The beautiful Interlagos sunset in the background, and all the cars are nice and clean and very easy, Peter. So, unlike as we normally expect, track position isn't exactly turning out to be a major factor in the early laps.
Certainly is. They're all just following around very politely, one by one. This is very serene so far, as we've seen. Oh, but that's about to be broken as we see one of the Wild Animals cars of Kirill Kolobuksov diving up the inside. Can he make it stick? Oh, that's one of the Wop.com cars there. Will it be Wop or will it be Whoops? Oh, a little bit of a nudge there on the front of both cars. That's the 199 running the Travis Pastrana number, Michael Pedersen, the Dane. Wow, oh, here they go then, 3 by 3, down they go, it's like Noah's Ark here, through they go into the Descida do Lago. Oh, and Kolobuksov goes wide, and that allows Pedersen through.
And Pedersen just smartly driving his way around for the Maniti Racing team. Here we come then, Kolobuksov looking and lunging in the Ferradura corner. Door to door they go as always. He's got the inside line, but sometimes Peter, the outside works as well. Kolobuksov holds position. Nice and clean. No, he does not. No, he does not, because he is still under attack. They are going side by side, Kolobuksov and Espen Erlandson, if I'm not mistaken. And clean. Nice and clean still.
Very clean indeed. The 119 of Jose Manuel Padin, the Spaniard, using all of his experience. He's been sim racing since 2003, so a lot of experience indeed in this form of motorsport. And what a form of motorsport it is. Just brilliant overtaking action. Riding on board then with the Spaniard, Jose Manuel Padin. In the draft now of the Wild Animals Racing machine. Into the draft he goes. Oh, Buxov moves over to the inside line. Don't hit the pit wall. Oh god. And then so 119 Jose Manuel, he's going for the outside line. Oh, that's the second time we've seen someone move on the brakes there, and through. Well, that was actually more dumb luck that they didn't collide there, Soumil.
Exactly, and we just spoke about this a few minutes ago before our broadcast started, about how tricky it is just to keep the car clean on the first corner. Well, it's a clear example of how it is so tricky to keep the car not braking and turning. But here comes Josh Clogg. Well, he tries to go to the outside. Josh Clogg obviously winning the Architect Formula Evo Championship a fortnight ago. Here he is then in these PorscheSport Carrera Cup cars, trying to make his way up into P number 9 against all the other cars, and are riding on board with Jose Manuel Padin. That, Peter, was rather audacious, but he got it stuck in. And now Kieran is saying, yeah, you've got a one-up on me this time, but I'm not going to let you go so easily.
No, and just a whole lot of look at the size of the pack forming up behind them. It's like we're riding on board with a caravan on a single track road here, with all the cars lining up behind. Oh, I should say that was somebody looking up the inside of the fiercely forward.
That was Butler, I guess.
Yes, well, yeah, well spotted. Josh Clogg there having to defend. Now remember, Josh Clogg is in that 10th position. Now, this is the great thing about the PorscheSport Carrera Cup in this format, because normally the battle for 10th, people would be like, well, who cares, Peter? But that is that critical point where you get automatic entry into the feature race. If you're in 11th, you've got to go through the wretched consolation race, and we've seen a lot of people's night ended in that particular contest. So here we go, a replay again, round 2. Kiloboxov versus 119 of Padan. Round 2, there we go, a little bit safer through there, and Kolobuksov could get the run here, gets a good exit on the power. He's right on the gearbox then. Oh, and Cloggin! Oh, dearie me! Clogg and Mattler are both around, well, fiercely sideways there. Oh, dear. Let's see what happened then to Josh Clogg. Oh, is there a big send coming? I think there is. Oh, dear.
Yikes.
And then gets helped around by Mattler.
Wait a minute. Was that a bit of netcode? Because I didn't think that Mattler actually made contact with Clogg. No, I mean, yeah, he did in the end, because that's how Clogg got turned around. But from the pictures, certainly looked like a bit of netcode, because Mattler and Clogg, at least in the video, the diffuser and the bumper didn't really make contact with them. It's rather strange, but sometimes I think it can be drafted in the netcode category.
Maybe. It's difficult to tell there. I mean, Mattler came from a heck of a long way back. I mean, really long way back on the brakes, and I think even the lightest of touches would have been enough to cause that little movement. But it can be sometimes when you remember, this is all in real time. So all of these guys are sitting at home on their simulators all over the world. We've got Kiwis, we've got Australians, we've got Americans, we've got Norwegians. I don't know if we've got any Scots actually. I don't think we do. We do have some Englishmen as well. So we've got people all over the world. And of course, Soumil, you're in Mumbai, I'm in Edinburgh, and Hugo, our producer, he's over in Rio. So this is amazing. This all happens in real time. Oh, no netcode there, but wow. Oh god, not netcode there either. Oh my word. That was a big barge, and it's one of the Wild Animals cars again. Well, you can't accuse Kirill Kolobuksov of not being on brand anyway.
Oh, Kirill Kolobuksov, he pounced like a tiger, but sadly that crash. Yikes, I'm not pretty sure if I can actually even comment about him not being a bit too aggressive over there. Just went down the inside. And, well, Ayrton Senna once said, and he's a legend here in Brazil, he said, if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver. I'm pretty sure that he didn't really have to prove that quote at that particular corner, because when you go side by side over there, it doesn't really end up very well. And, you know, one person who will be able to tell you the very same thing is Max Verstappen. At the back, is that our friend Dane Ben?
I think it was. No, it's Ivan Harrasta, his teammate.
That's his teammate, yeah.
Well, I tell you what, it was the rallycross driving style anyway, backing in the 911 Francois Delacour style. Very stylish indeed from the Kairos competition ace there. But Yeah, I have to say, I agree with you. If the gap exists, you got to go for it. But you might have fitted a motorcycle through there, but you certainly wouldn't have fitted a Porsche, and that was just a T-bone almost, and a great pity. So, one of the fiercest evenings we've had so far this season, Soumil.
It is really, and the second heat is all just lighting up right now because Karsten van Eyck, he wants to get P10 for himself. He wants to get in that feature race directly. Here he comes then, to the outside he goes, wants that position, fights for that position. This may not end well perhaps. No, it does. And Van Eyck quietly realizing that, you know what, actually, I should perhaps back off a little bit and try and attack the next corner, which is the Interlagos, but he's under attack from someone behind as well. That's the 55 car. They're going side by side, Peter. The battles just do not end.
Yeah, 55 of Lichtenhagen. Well, is he going to Lichten the stamp and send it here? Let's see. But, a little bit of contact there between the Chaos competition car of Harrasta and the 911 of Noah Watt there as well for Woat.com Maniti Racing. Well, this is getting very fierce, but this is what we've seen so many times. The battle for that critical 10th spot is so fierce. Now Lichtenhagen takes the 10th spot, so it's... This really does matter. This means this is the difference between having to go through the horrible consolation race or sitting with your feet up with a cup of tea and a biscuit.
Exactly, and sometimes the consolation race can just get so tricky and so full of carnage that these guys must be thinking, hey, you know what, might as well just get in a P10, might as well just fight as hard as I possibly can, and who knows, I can just enjoy a little bit and watch these guys do their own thing, because sometimes the drama in the consolation race can be too much to handle. Of course, 40 cars competing for 10 positions. Well, I'm not a great mathematician, but the probability of some drama or the other happening is quite high, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't like those odds, that's for sure. And it can be a little bit of a lottery sometimes, particularly here at Interlagos. This opening S's, the Senate S as well, it's so tricky to get right, and it's very, very easy when there's a big pack of cars for problems to happen. And we look back at Ivan Harrasta. Ivan Harrasta is the wrong side of that feature race fence right now. Hendrick Lichtenhagen, he is where he needs to be, getting that entry in. But we look back, the lights are on, so the feature race, well, we're going to be racing right into darkness here at Interlagos. That's going to add a new element for the drivers as well, where that circuit knowledge will become ever more important. Just a quick update. At the front, Alexander Teeb still running, still leading comfortably by nearly 2 seconds at the front, but Justin Tipton and Kieran Harrison not too far behind as well. But I just feel something brewing. I just feel that we're with 9 minutes to go, particularly that battle in the mid-pack. I feel there is an atomic explosion about to go off.
Well, there's going to be a big one right at the top as well, because these guys, I mean, Harrison and Tipton as well going side by side, but let's focus on this one a bit more, because, well, Ivan Harrasta, he's been there or thereabout, fighting for that pin number 10 for quite a while, and Lichtenhagen's been blocking that position off very valiantly as well. So for Ivan Harrasta, he's got to put out a rabbit from the hat. Thankfully for him though, time is on his side. 8 minutes and 30 seconds left to go for this one. What can he do then for Kairos competition? He's got his teammate Dan Baird just a little bit behind for some reinforcements, but that won't help. Here comes Harrasta on the diffuse of Lichtenhagen, going past the Senna S's, trying to honour the great Ayrton Senna himself for the bold move, but Ivan Harrasta has to wait. Lichtenhagen takes a deep breath and exhales. He has a bit of a gap now.
Yeah, unfortunately for Harrasta, his teammate Dane Baird is 7 seconds further down the road. There he is, just at the back of shot there. So he, no reinforcements. Big oversteer there, and that nearly snapped back into the wall there. Well held there from Ivan Harrasta. So he's obviously been taking driving lessons from Dane Baird, rallycross style, backing it in, sliding it around, and here comes the 911 of Noah Watt. Through he goes then. Karsten van Eyck, my apologies. There's a change of number there. Sorry, my number sheet needs updating. Karsten van Eyck. This is Ivan Harrasta just dropping back there, strangely. It just maybe taking stock for a second in the 63 machine.
Yeah, I think he just backed off for a couple of seconds. He realised that it was getting a bit too close. And yet another place where it's actually getting a bit too close, Peter, is in the battle between Jose Manuel Padin and Kirill Kolobuksov. The gap, believe you me, only 1.5 tenths of a second. That's what the timing screen says. We can quickly have the shots on screen in a couple of seconds and we can really get those pictures for you. And now we are seeing Alexander Thieb at the very top. He is chilling, enjoying a lovely Sunday evening drive at Interlagos. Who would love to do that? But at the back, Justin Tipton in his pink wheel RaceKraft esports car, he is under some pressure from one very good driver in Kieran Harrison. Now, the thing with Kieran Harrison is, at HM Engineering, he's got a very astute teammate in the form of Maxim Ramstein, who's been doing all the winning. But Harrison in Imola, if you remember, folks, he was on fire.
He was indeed, yes, and he's been very, very quick at the wheel of a number of different cars recently. A very prolific sim racer is Kieran Harrison, particularly in a touring car as well. And I tell you what, doing well in a touring car, certainly you need good racecraft to do well in that form of racing. And well, this has kind of just been like a really expensive, really powerful form of rear-wheel drive touring car racing, hasn't it, Soumil? It's so close, so tight. And Justin Tipton, really impressive drive from him as well. He's under a lot of pressure here from Kieran Harrison, and look at how much room they give on the outside there, how late they are on the brakes, and how they get the car turned. Not an easy car to turn in. It kind of wants to understeer usually, but these guys at the front, they're so impressive to watch. And I say it all the time, Soumil, it's just what the great thing about watching sim racing is that you can log on to your iRacing account, load up this circuit, load up this car, and you then get a very good impression of just how impressive these drivers actually are.
Absolutely. After I'm going to be done with this race, although it's going to be 3 in the night back here in India, I'm still going to go in and drive. The temptation to drive when you watch these guys do their own thing in their own element is just a bit too much. And as you rightly mentioned, Peter, in real life, only a few can actually sit in a Porsche. To race at Interlagos in real life, that's a bit too tricky. But thankfully, with the sim, everything is possible. And oh my dear me, that is one of the Volante cars. That is the 199 going slightly wide in the background. That is Jose Manuel Padin, if I'm not mistaken. So he just... No, that's Michael Pedersen, I beg your pardon. He just went on the AstroTurf for a couple of seconds on the exit of the Senna S's, thankfully, keeping it all very clean up here in P number 6. And tell you what, Peter, the interesting part with this PorscheSport Carrera Cup car is that I'd say it's a Porsche Carrera Cup car, not the Porsche Sport. I've had a bit of a hang of saying this a bit now, but yeah, the throttle movements are critical. You have to be so smooth with them. And when you have such flowing corners, I mean, you have the exit of Beacon de Pato into Mercula corner, or even the Ferradura corner, you're just compelled to get on the throttle as early as possible, as you would in a GT3 car. But not over here. If you get on the throttle a bit too early, and if the tire temperatures are a bit too cool, man, expect to go sideways, a bit like a Ford Mustang.
Yeah, they are kind of it's kind of like, I would say, like when you ride a super bike compared to, say, a super sport bike. It's a kind of, you want to kind of V the corner off, get the car pointed in the right direction, and use the power. And particularly with these Porsches, with the rear engine, you want to use the out-of-corner traction as well, and they're not cars with massive aerodynamic grip, so you're not going to just throw it into the corner and lean on it. You've got to kind of get it turned and get back on the power when you can. And as you rightly say, if you get too early with that, it'll bite you in the bum really hard. As we see, Hendrick Lichtenhagen, he's managed to pull away, so he's a little bit safer now in 10th spot, and he's pulling up behind Jose Manuel Padin. So interesting stuff there. And yeah, so it's that battle for the bubble. Lichtenhagen's done what he needs to do. 3 minutes to go. He's just got to hang on that little bit longer, and he will be into that feature race. But for Alexander Thieb, the team Redline ace, well, he is out front on a bit of a cruise. He's leading. He's managed that gap beautifully. It's hardly moved from 1.8 seconds, and he's just running his pace very comfortably. He's probably now thinking, I've got a client coming in tomorrow with a sore knee. What am I going to do to try and help them get better again?
Exactly. I mean, he's just having such a lonely race at the very top. And knowing Alexander Thieb, I don't think he would mind, because last I remember, he said that the best way to win is to dominate, and that is exactly what he's doing right here, right now. So Alex on the team certainly bringing the goods to the table, quite like Espen Erlandsen and Robin Auslan, because these two drivers are now trying to get their hands dirty and fight for P number 4. So no need to take unnecessary risks, boys. You're already in the feature race as it stands, but perhaps you can just drive up the entertainment levels up a notch. So then, past the center S's, Robin Auslan has been doing a tremendous job for Go Team Racing, the Swede driver, just holding position as smartly as possible. Tell you what though, for Team Bergen and Espen Erlandsen, getting one place up, that's going to be quite a good thing for them in the end.
Yep, Robin Auslan, the man from Gavel in Sweden. He is, I love that paint scheme on his car, on the number 44. Of course, running the 44 of Magnus Racing, one of the funnest teams in the IMSA WeatherTech sports car paddock, who unfortunately their Lamborghini turfed off into the barrier by a passing DPI car yesterday. Quite a scary accident. Looking now by the battle for 6th place, Michael Pedersen and Hugo Gallo. We've not talked much about the car to be driving. Oh, Ivan Harasta off. Harasta is off on the grass, but he's managed to get back going again in the Kairos competition machine. Let's see what happens. Oh dear. Oh, good style though. I like it. 8.3 for style from me, Soumil.
Yeah, that's a full 10 for me in my.
He's just on his own, I think. Let it. Oh, he's doing some more Dane Baird rally crossing. Oh, round he goes.
Opinion, but yeah, sadly not really working out for Ivan Harasta in that Kairos competition car. Well, he was a bit like a pirouette dancer right there, just spinning around, thankfully getting it back on track. But this is the battle, Peter. This is the one that we are here to watch. 45 seconds, the 44, 43, 42 coming on the clock. And it's for P number 10. So normally, these two guys are going to qualify. These two guys are going to go in the feature race. But if they just fight a little bit too hard, well, they could all end up losing the positions that they have. And notice the bumper of Jose Manuel Padin's car. He's got a bit of damage in the front bumper. So it's been a bit of a tricky race for him so far. Lots of contact going on. Now then, he just wants to get that P number 9 from one certain Hendrick Lichtenhagen. I tell you what though, he's the pushover, and being the last lap of the race, if there's any time where he has to do it, it has to be now. Yeah,
I think a second-hand car dealer would call that patina Padin's patina that is on that Porsche. It's race proven. So white flag. Then we're on to the final lap, or the leader is on to the final lap, I should say, as we come to, here you go then, number 54. Alexander Teeb for Team Redline. Of course, if you have any Max Verstappen fans watching, he is on the roster for Team Redline, and they've raced a number of races with them. Oh, a bit of oversteer there as well. Stylish from the German ace Alexander Teeb, the world's fastest physiotherapist, takes the win then in the opening heats of the heat number 2 of the PorscheSport Carrera Cup, and he will take a front row start for the critical feature race, so he can go and relax and get ready. He can watch the consolation race here on Racespot TV. And as we see, this is the battle now for 9th spot. Jose Manuel Padin doesn't necessarily need to take any risks here. He's in the feature. This is the final spot then, so all the drivers behind him will have to go to the consolation race. What a pity for them, but Jose Manuel Padin, he will be happy to get through in 10th spot. Sadly, the 911 car, one of the Wart.com cars, unfortunately not making it through.
So then, after a bit of peace and quiet, after a rather processional race that we have right here, I can assure you the next one that's going to come up, it's going to be far from that.
Certainly will indeed. So Alexander Teeb then is your winner from Justin Tipton by 2.2 seconds. A brilliant drive from the Team Redline ace. Kieran Harrison rounds out the podium in 3rd. 4th was Robin Auslan with Espen Erlandsen in 5th. Michael Pedersen was 6th with Hugo Gallo in 7th, and Thomas Guldalen was 8th. Hendrick Lichtenhagen was 9th, and rounding out the top 10 was Jose Manuel Padin. 11th was Karsten van Eyck, unfortunately just missing out on that automatic entry, but will have a very good grid spot for the consolation race. Ivan Harasta has finished in 12th with Dane Baird in 13th. Joshua Ali Cascalia, well, finished in 14th. Bastian Mattler was 15th. Josh Clogg 16th. Kirill Kolobutsov in 17th. And Alan Powell is, and there's a little glitch with our timing screen there, I think. Alan Powell in 20th and Tristan Marth 19th. So, our drivers then, this is how they line up for the consolation race then. Martin Donati will join Karsten van Eyck on the front row of the grid. Row 2 will be Artem Grabau alongside Ivan Harasta. Gavin Halls and Dane Baird will line up on row 3. Row 4 will be Ivan Leubscher and Joshua Ali Kiskagaila. Alex Crater and Basti Mattler on row 5, Clement Andrio and Josh Clogg row 6 for them. Row 7 will be Mark Jones and Kirill Kolobutsov, Jack Wilson and Jacob Robotham on row number 8, Jordan Pearce and Tristan Mark row 9, Carl Waltquist and Alan Powell rounding out the 10th row, making it 20 cars for this consolation race, and all these drivers keen to get going and keen to try and get their spot on the grid for the feature. These are always fun, these races, Soumil, and I'm sure this is going to be no different. We look at our pole position sitter, Karsten van Eyck, Artem Grabau, there over on the second place spot. And we'll be ready for another 20 minutes of frantic racing here at Interlagos. Just waiting for one more car. You can see that little gap there. There we go then. We'll wait for the revs to rise. And we will be go here at Interlagos for the consolation race here in the PorscheSport Carrera Cup. Just a short run down to turn 1 here for our drivers. So you just got to try and keep it clean. Try and get through those first few corners at the Senna S's safely. That is the key to success here at this wonderful circuit. Green, green, green then here at Interlagos for the consolation race here in the PorscheSport Carrera Cup. Down they go then into turn 1.
As always, they are keeping it very clean. We see Ivan Leubscher, if I'm not mistaken, going slightly wide of the Senna S's. That's a bit of a tricky start for him. At the top, though, it is Karsten van Eyck leading and stretching his legs already as we approach the Interlagos. But at the back, it is one certain face, Ivan Harasta, trying to make a move down the inside. He does not succeed, so he settles back up in a P4, and Gavin Holt and the PorscheSport team settles in a P number 3. But at the top, Peter, it is still Karsten van Eyck doing quite a good job, but at the back, too wide.
Yeah, look at Gavin Halls there in third. The man, of course, British born but based in Bahrain. He is doing a great job here. Great start from him from the third row of the grid. He's up to third spot already in the PorscheSport machine. Looking at Alex Crater, who had that horrible crash in the heat races, but good start to the consolation race from him. He's in 7th spot right now, which is in the, basically the, for lack of a better description, the money places. He's right behind Ivan Leubscher in the 46 machine with is that Dane Baird up there as well? I think it is. He's up there in the top 10 as well, so good start. He's in 5th for Kairos competition. Great performance so far from Dane Baird.
Here we see the two drivers going completely at it, taking the intensity level to 200%, going side by side at the pit entry that is. Coming towards the Senna S's, that, folks, is going to be Dane Baird and Ivan Harasta. No, that's not going to be Dane Baird and Ivan Harasta. Surely not. Here they come past the Senna S's. And, yes, still clean, Peter. How are they going to do that? Alex Crater's involved in all that mess. Wow, this is exciting stuff.
Yeah, welcome to the consolation race here in the PorscheSport Carrera Cup live on Racespot TV. It is fast and furious here. Looking at the number 98 of Bastian Mattler. He makes a move up the inside there past Alex Crater. So Alex Crater now getting dangerously close to that bubble. And of course, after the consolation race, that is you out. If you don't make the top 10, your night is over. And you are watching the feature race from the sidelines. So we see Clement Andrio. He is your drop position driver right now. He's in 10th, one of the fiercely forward cars in the background there as well. That's the 13 of Josh Clogg in that red, yellow and black, almost bumblebee coloured machine for Fiercely Forward. Fast-paced action here, Soumil.
Fast-paced action indeed. Now Gavin Halls loses a position that would be to Ivan Harrasta. Now for Ivan Harrasta, he was trying for this for quite a while, for approximately 3 minutes now. Here he goes then. At the top, Peter, there is something even more interesting happening, because Artem Grabau says, "Hey, Carsten, knock knock, who's there?" Artem who? Artem, the man who's going to come for the lead. Here he comes around to the outside line. He goes, could get messy a little bit. Still clean, still side by side, and still at the exit it is not Carsten Van Eyck but Artem Grabau for the Wild Animals team, who is now your new leader.
So the lawmaker Artem Grabau goes to the front then for Team Wild Animals in the number 43 machine, running same number that Ken Block did during his time at the wheel. In competitive motorsport, and the 555. Oh, Bastian Mattler there, and we see, is that, I think that's Dane, yes, Dane Baird in the number 36 goes wide then. We're on board with Bastian Mattler. That's Dane Baird ahead, and it's Colin Buksov in the 555. Round they go then into the middle part of the circuit. This is where it gets very much like a Skeletric circuit around here. Very tight, twisty turns. Dane Baird battling away. This, of course, this will suit him well with his rallycross experience as well. Dane Baird goes a little bit wide. Oh no, yeah, sorry, that's Harrasta. Sorry, it's the same colour of car. But all this bickering here, that is allowing Artem Grabau to escape. Gavin Halls, he's marred back in 4th place now, so he really wants to be getting a shift on here.
Exactly, it's not really helping him out right now. He's currently stuck behind these cars, and getting past them, although it may be a wide circuit, it can be quite a tricky job. Now then, Peter, sunset and dusk has officially arrived. We are now properly in the dark hours of the day. The headlights are on, the racing is getting exciting, and the temperatures are falling down at a rock. Who would have imagined racing in the night in Interlagos? It's going to be so much better now. And under attack is Ivan Harrasta from Carsten Van Eyck. Only a lap or two ago, Carsten Van Eyck was in the lead. Now he's in this power struggle that he has for P2. What can he do from here?
I'll talk about power struggle. There was a struggle between the power of his flat 6 engine and the Michelin tyres there. He put the power down, did Carsten Van Eyck, and got a real wiggle on at the back of the car, but the traction of the Porsche just getting it locked down. Dane Baird now back to 8th. This is getting dangerously close. Oh, one of the cast cars goes off there as well. So for Dane Baird, this is getting dangerous here. He wants to stay in that top 10. Riding on board. Oh my goodness me, this is like Austin Powers' apartment in here. Oh my god, this is... Oh, I'm not sure about this colour scheme, I'll be honest, Soumil.
Exactly. It's all nice and funky in here. It's almost as if a party is going on. And the party will be going on if Dane Baird actually gets a couple of positions ahead and puts himself in a very good spot for the feature race. It's all nice and pinky, nice and club colours, you could say, for Dane Baird, and he certainly likes to spice things up in and out of the car as well. But at the top, spinning around, smoke in the air, there's a crash. That is Ivo Lobsher with yet another one of the Wild Animals car. Oh, dearie me.
Not good news for Ivo Lobsher. That is his night over. So let's get a replay of what happened there. It's one of the... Oh, he gets loose on his own and then bang! Oh dear, Kolobuksov, unfortunately the innocent party there had nowhere to go, and oh, that just sealed Ivo Lobsher's fate. That was really unlucky there, but oh, I tell you what, Kolobuksov, it's certainly spurred him on, hasn't he? Wow. So Kolobuksov, he's in 6th place as Mattler goes by into 5th, and Dane Baird's going to follow through here. Through he goes then, and Josh Clogg, he's in 9th spot. Oh my word, this is 13 minutes to go, guys, calm down. Oh, I don't know if I've got anything left in the tank, Soumil.
Bring it on, bring it on. Down goes Josh Clogg to the inside line. He pushes the other car to the outside. This is incredible racing. So Josh Clogg moves up into P number 8. But this is far from over. Alex Strater is going to fight hard. He is going to look to the inside, but Josh Clogg blocks off and shuts the door shut. But Bastian Mattler, that move that he made there, the Senna S's, finding grip quite like Max Verstappen in 2016, but he's under pressure. He is under pressure from one certain... Well, that's going to be Kirill Kolobuksov, who has been quite aggressive today. Now we're riding on board from Tim and Andrew and Peter. They're not following social distancing, are they?
No, I hope they're wearing a mask and they've sanitised and all that. Yes, all that kind of stuff. As you see, look back, what a battle this is. Well,
It's
look
amazing.
at George Clogg there in the fiercely forward car. Clogg by name, Clogg by nature, because he is making sure that no one's going past him there as well in the fiercely forward car. So riding on board with Kirill Kolobutsov, who is riding wounded, but it doesn't seem to be holding him back. Soumil, he goes to the outside line now. Mattler goes defensive. Mattler is safe but firm there. That's the way we like to see it. And oh my word, Kolobutsov snips the nose of Dane Baird off there. And that was very, very close to a little bit of contact there. And wow, this is getting very spicy indeed. So down they go then towards Descida do Lago, and our Brazilian producer is just cursing my horrible pronunciation there. I'm so sorry. Soumil, do you want to have a go at the corner names?
Descida do Lago, just adding a bit of the flair into it.
Yes.
But oh, come on, bring your lemonade in, folks. This one, just sit back in the back of your seats, chill in the sofa, because this is getting exciting. And Josh Clogg is bringing the excitement to the table. He went down the inside and got the position in, but it is not done yet. As always, as we see all the time in the PorscheSport Carrera Cup, if a move is made, it's not done immediately. You can't expect the cars to fight back to the very end. And now we saw Clogg under pressure from bed. Contact, spinner, Crater.
Oh, Crater's got spun around. Oh no, that was just well, it looked to me like one of those racing incidents. But let's have a look then, a replay. Let's have a look then. So Crater's in the black and silver car. Dane Baird goes by, fair enough. And just a tiny tap from one of the cast cars. I think that's Clement Andriot, is it? Yes. Oh, what a pity. That just a bottleneck job there, I think.
Well, you don't want to be playing tag with these cars, do you?
No.
It's all fun and games on a playground, but not at Interlagos. This place, it's more like a war zone rather than a playground.
Yes, it's certainly hostile here. So, Kolobutsov, I tell you what, this has been a really good drive. That impact there with Lobsher was not his fault, and this car is wounded. Look at all that damage, and if you're wondering if that's just cosmetic, I can assure you it is not, viewers. In iRacing, the damage model incredibly realistic, and any damage and therefore performance impact will be simulated, so he will be carrying a little bit of a performance disadvantage. But this is a tenacious drive from the 555 Wild Animal Russia driver.
It absolutely is. And you know what? The thing that they say about wild animals, Peter, when a wild animal is wounded, that is when they are at their most dangerous. So Kirill Kolobutsov, can he pounce like a wild animal? Can he get that position in for himself? He wants to be in the feature race. As it stands, he will be. But just like a wild animal, you want to hunt your prey as early as possible in the most dramatic of fashions. But up ahead is a man who is no slouch, from one of the richest countries in the world, or principalities I must say, Maxim Ramstein for the Monaco esports team. Just leave him alone, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and Monaco probably got more world champions living there, world champion motor racing drivers than any other country in the world per head.
Absolutely.
Of course, we could be out here all day listing out all the drivers there. It must be. Can you imagine what it must be like just going out for coffee in Monaco? You must just bump into Le Mans winners, world Formula One champions on a not a daily basis, an hourly basis.
Exactly. You know what? Interestingly, Charles Leclerc's mother was the barber actually of David Coulthard. So that's
right.
the kind of atmosphere at Monaco, and it's amazing. Now Mattler, just Kirill Kolobutsov getting a bit too aggressive, isn't it?
Just a little bit, yes, and I guess that from Mattler, that white and red colour scheme, of course the Monegasque colours, very nice looking car, that indeed. Well, apart from the PlayStation logo on the back, we can ignore that. But I tell you what though, Soumil, we've been so, I have to be honest, I've been so distracted by how good this racing has been that we're now coming under almost complete darkness here at Interlagos, and we've still got our 30-minute, whoa, that's what the inside of a Porsche exhaust looked like. We've still got the 30-minute feature race left. We're going to be in complete pitch black darkness.
Exactly, and it's not even going to be like a circuit like Singapore, when you have all the lights shining through and all the city looks very bright and beautiful. No, at Interlagos, it's all going to be dark and dusty in the night. You can barely see anything, and even though you've got probably some of the best headlights in the world, it a lot of it is down to your instinct, and instinct it is for Kirill Kolobutsov as he closes up on Bastian Matler. Now, Peter, with this car, look, the draft is a bit of a factor, not so much as it would be in a single-seater car. As you can see, Kolobutsov isn't exactly able to steamroll his way past, but he is getting closer, inching ever so closer, comes to the braking zone, looks to the outside, and he goes to the outside. There's a bit of smoke I see, Peter, so perhaps that will be one of the VIP Volante cars getting a bit of a lock-up in there.
Yes, definitely. I think definitely a lock-up up ahead. And these cars, you would be surprised actually how much draft they have. That enormous rear wing, if you can get cozied underneath that, you can get a really good tow, a little bit of a caravan job. But the only thing is Kirill Kolobutsov, I think that's his damage. He's got a lot of... Oh, Gavin Halls is off! No! No, our PorscheSport Carrera Cup driver, Gavin Halls, has spun on his own in the 38 machine, and through comes the bubble battle. He might, 6 minutes to go, he might get onto the back of that. So his night might not be over yet, but huge oversteer there. Ah, no, Gavin. That's such a shame. He was running so strongly, but look, he's in 11th position, and there are a lot of drivers ahead who he can get into a little bit of a tussle with. As long as he's in the top 10, he will get through to the feature race.
But he'll have to do everything very quickly. Who's the next man on the list? Well, for Gavin Halls, the next target is none other than Tristan Martz. And for Gavin Halls, that slide, when it goes out and when it snaps on you, it snaps on. Not even Ken Block can say something quite like that one. Not a challenge, but that just shows you how tricky this car is. And now, for Gavin Halls, it's just getting all a bit too tricky, because Tristan Martz is saying, yeah, Gavin, you've had your spin, you've had your movement, I'm not going to let you go past. And look at the darkness, Peter. It is darker than it would be on a bright... Oh my goodness me, I can barely see a thing. It would be even darker if I just switched all the lights off in my room, and you can barely see the eyes of a cat in this kind of situation. Bastian Matler in that darkness wants to take advantage, goes to the outside, almost on the AstroTurf. You can make it pitch black, but you cannot take away the aggression. To the outside he goes. Oh my goodness me! How are they even battling in this darkness with each other? Matler goes to the outside line. He is still keeping it clean with the WIP car. Oh boy, heading into Ferradura corner, he's got the inside line and he gets bumped and taken out. Shades of 2009 in Formula 1, but Matler is still on the track. Miracle, miracle, miracle.
How did he do that? But Bastian Matler, I was sure that he was going off there. He'd been given a real drive through on the rear end from Kirill Kolobutsov, and well, it's Bastian Matler hanging on to what looked like a sure accident. And that is vital, because remember, they're well within the top 10 battle, so that could have put him out of the top 10 battle. That is a critical moment in this motor race. And I tell you what, Soumil, we've got certainly our widest range of octaves in our voices today, haven't we?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh man,
we've gone full Mickey Mouse today.
We have. We've used the entire scale, all the way from this voice all the way back to this one. But it's been amazing, the kind of racing. It just gets that sort of voice out from you, doesn't it? You don't really go to that sort of depths normally, but the kind of racing here awakens the inner child within you. Be it in the broad daylight or in the utter darkness, Porsches racing together, it just gets you excited. Now, Peter, the interesting thing is, now that we're getting dark, we are seeing cars going wide. We saw Kolobutsov go wide, we saw Bastian Matler do the same thing in the last lap. Is that some sort of the defect coming in for the darkness? Are they not able to spot their apexes as well?
Well, there's kind of pluses and minuses to this. The darkness will cool the track temperature down, which makes the tyres work better, and therefore the lap times will increase and the grip will increase. But this is where we're going to see who's really put in the hours in practice, because when you know a circuit really, really well and you've done lots and lots of laps in recent time, you get almost a muscle memory where you could almost drive the car blindfolded, because you're putting in a certain steering input each time. As we see, Gavin Halls is back into the top 10, so he'll still get a feature race spot now. So great recovery from Gavin just at the right moment. He's now right behind Joshua Al-Kaskaila in the 83 Team Black Snow Racing. Well, they say don't eat yellow snow, but Team Black Snow Racing in 9th position right now. But yes, the darkness is really going to show who's put in the prep and who hasn't.
Absolutely. Oh no, that's the fiercely forward car. That would be Josh Clogg. It just goes wide at Yunsao corner, and you're right, Peter. It just kind of comes into perspective when you can't see anything at all. That darkness can really catch a few people out, can't it? And now Karsten Van Eyck in P number 3. Martler almost being tapped around from the back by Kieran Buksov. You know what this reminds me of? 3 o'clock in the morning at Le Mans. That's the kind of racing we're getting to see here. And now Martler Buksov. Oh, they're still lunging. Oh my goodness me. Martler to the outside line and to see the Interlagos. Man, with 1 minute to go, these guys are relentless. They will not stop. Martler goes wide, vanishes, snap of the finger. Here he is back again, side by side now to Fedor Peter. Who's got the edge?
I can't tell. Bastian Matler in there, Buksov maybe just looking, being the rear gunner, just shadowing these guys, waiting for the inevitable almost. Oh, Karsten Van Eyck looks up the inside of Matler, but thinks better of it. So tight. This is Interlagos. This is why Interlagos is one of the best circuits to go racing on anywhere in the world. It's not changed that much since its original layout. It's deliberately so, and thank God it hasn't, because it's just the most wonderful layout. Very technical, but lots of overtaking opportunities. Round they go. The leader probably... Not sure if the leader will have taken the white flag or not. We will update you in just a moment to see where we are with that. Yes, our leader Artem Grabau will take the white flag then, so this will be the last lap. The lawmaker putting in a perfect performance here, but oh dear, look at this pile up now. We've got Joshua Ali Kaskaila, we've got Gavin Halls, we've got Josh Clogg in there, riding on board with Tristan Martz for Rogers Racing. He's in 11th, he needs one of these spots, he needs to take one. Oh, he's gonna go, oh, wow. This is gonna bottleneck. Oh, Gavin Halls, your time to escape, buddy, come on.
Bring it on, folks. The white flag is in the air. This is the last lap, and it is for... well, as the ring announcer in wrestling would say, for the last position. The only man who loses out on this one loses out on the feature race. In the pitch darkness, they are fighting like gladiators in a war. They don't care if they can't see or not. They will still put their foot in the door, and they will still get those positions for themselves. Man, just the excitement that is in the air, just the kind of drama in the air now. Look at this, Karsten Van Eyck, he's in P4 now, and somehow in the darkness, Bastian Matler's made it up, and Joshua Ali Kaskaila has spun around Peter. He's lost that crucial position. He's not going to make it to the feature.
So let's have a look to see, did he fall or was he pushed? He fell straight on the curb, and that, honestly, Soumil, I think that was a bit to do with the darkness. I really do. I think just putting one foot wrong, but Artem Grabau takes the win then here in the consolation race to get a good grid spot for the final feature race. And a little jink there from Harrasta and Matler. Over they go then. Dane Baird comes in 6th place, Clement Andriot 7th, Gavin Halls gets 8th place. They move around just. Buksov's dropping down the timing screen. What's happened to him?
I think it's just a checkered flag. I think the timing screen just goes bonkers. But what did we see there? Did you see that, Peter? Ivan Harrasta, when he was about to cross the checkered flag, he didn't realize that there was a pit entry over there. It is that dark. I mean, even if you take a torch in here, you could easily hide from anyone. Even if the CBI, that is the Bureaucracy Organization of India, coming for you, nobody hides from them. But you can still hide from anyone in that darkness. Harrasta almost crashed in the pit wall. It is that dark.
Yeah, this is going to be an amazing feature race. So your winner then in the consolation, Artem Grabau, wins from Ivan Harrasta. Bastian Matler was 3rd with Karsten Van Eyck in 4th. Kirill Kolobuksov, a brilliant recovery drive from him after an incident early on in the race, so he's 5th. Dane Baird gets into the feature race with a 6th place finish. Clement Andriot in 7th. Gavin Halls, again, another good recovery from a mistake quite late on into the race, so a good finish for him to get to 8th. Josh Clogg was 9th for Fiercely Forward, and the final spot in the feature race goes to Tristan Marks for Rogers A51. Alex Crater, the first man to miss out, that's never the spot you want, followed by Jordan Pierce, Mark Jones, Jacob Robotham, Joshua Ali Kaskaila, Martin Donati, Ivo Lobsher, Jack Wilson, Carl Wovquist and Alan Powell do not go through to the feature. They unfortunately are parked up for the night. But we now are in Interlagos under darkness, a completely new challenge for the drivers. And again, coming back to that practice, Soumil, those drivers that have paid attention to that detail, drivers know what the track conditions or the weather conditions at least are going to be, so the drivers that have done the night practice, they are going to be the ones that profit here.
How are they even going to see what's going on? They don't even have the lights to turn on right here. I mean, as if you could contact somebody in the office and say, hey, hello mister, can you just turn the lights on over here? You can't do that, it's iRacing. I can't even see what's going on. I mean, Ivan Harrasta, just him about to hit the pit wall, straight on. That could have been anyone dying in real life had something quite like that happened, but here they are then. They are trying to drive. It's just the most manly thing that they are going to do right here, just driving in this sort of conditions. I don't even know. I think this is going to be a proper crash fest. It's survival of the fittest, Peter.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting challenge. I have to say this is the busiest.
That's a big understatement.
This is the busiest warm-up session I've seen so far this season. Interestingly, normally warm-up is pretty quiet usually, but look how literally everybody just getting out onto the track, turning some laps, just trying to get their eyes adjusted. They talk about that at Le Mans, how when they go, they try to keep the same driver in the car from light into darkness so they can sort of adjust as they go along. We see a few drivers doing some start practice here as well. It's like you say, you're probably right. My go to have the understatement of the day. It is going to be an interesting challenge for sure, but again, the drivers that know the circuit well, it won't faze them. They just watch their apexes, watch their braking points and try and take it from there.
Although, I don't know. This is just looks like the most daunting of challenges that I've never commentated on anything in such pitch black darkness, so it's going to be a challenge for us as well. That's for sure. But don't you worry, folks. If you're watching right here, we are going to keep you updated with everything that goes on. Even if you can't see it, we'll be trying to get you the big dose of this PorscheSport Carrera Cup action. And now, Peter, you've got the grid.
Yeah, so Dylan Burse, by virtue of his opening heat race win, will lead from pole from Alexander Teeb, the championship leader. On row 2, Teeb's rival Maxim Ramstein will roll off from 3rd with Justin Tipton. Well, we might just about see his pink wheels in 4th. Sam Coiter will roll off from 5th alongside HM Engineering Kieran Harrison. Lewis Ward and Robin Auslan will occupy row 4. Row 5 will be Anders Meyer and Espen Erlandsen, a Team Birken lockout there. Oscar Wilkins and Michael Pedersen will start from the 6th row of the grid. On row 7 will be Tobias Meisel and Hugo Gallo. The King Hippo himself, Ryan Parkins, will start 15th alongside Thomas Guldelayen. 17th will be Nelson Costa de Souza alongside Hendrick Lichtenhagen. Quentin Biolatti will be 19th alongside Jose Manuel Padin. Artem Grabau will start 21st alongside Ivan Harrasta. Bastian Matler and Karsten van Eyck will be in 23rd and 24th. Kirill Kolobuksov will start 25th alongside Dane Baird. Clement Andriot and Gavin Halls will occupy row 15. And finally, row 15, Josh Clogg and Tristan Marks round out your order. So, we wait for our drivers to line up on the grid, and thankfully they've all got bright headlights, says Soumil.
Oh yes indeed, what a sight this is. 30 Porsche 911 Carrera GT3 Cup cars. These things are absolute beasts. Here we are then, the final feature race where all the points are on offer, the big one. But if you win, you've got the bragging rights on your side. Interlagos, Peter, what a beautiful circuit this is, what a special one. Here we are then. Who is going to be the man that reigns in all the darkness, who triumphs among all these tricky circumstances? I think the next few laps will give us the answer.
They will. Looks like we've got most of our drivers ready to go. A busy 30-car grid here. We wait for Barney the flagman to drop the green flag, and we will be go here in the PorscheSport Carrera Cup feature race. And we are green, green, green here in Brazil for the final race of the evening here at Interlagos. Down they go towards turn 1 then. We'll just get a quick look there. Oh, that's one of the HM Engineering cars going up into second. That's Maxim Ramstein. Teep gets the launch into first. Dylan Burst back to third place, but they already get into a little bit of a miniature breakaway in the very early stages. Look at that. But Maxim Ramstein, he's got to try. And so, oh, we got one of the PorscheSport cars off there at the back spinning. But in general, they get through okay.
Yeah, we get through okay, and now all the okayness goes wide. Exactly, because Burst and Tipton have gone wide on the AstroTurf. Just as we said it's about to go clean, it is not. It's a Carrera Cup race. What do you expect? But at the top, wow, they're still going side by side. Tipton almost being touched on by one of the HM Engineering cars. That would be, folks, that would be Kieran Harrison at the back over there. And they made contact. It's the... Oh, that's... Oh my goodness me, that folks is Anders Meyer.
Anders Meyer, well, he'll be stuck back in the pack now after that. He got a little bit of a helping hand from...
Oh my God.
I think it was Robin Auslan that gave him a good push there. And Bastien Matler, the Team Monaco driver, what a pity. So, but I tell you what, Soumil, this race is going to be a long, long race for these drivers. If you do, we've seen it so many times. Never give up. Keep the car going, and you never know how many places. We've got another guy off at the back there as well, but it's Alexander Teeb who leads though. But I tell you what, Maxim Ramstein is right in the slipstream here. Will he make a move down into turn 1? I think, Soumil, he's going to have to try and do the Troy Bayliss tactic, try and snap back and try and take the lead and try and slow Teeb's pace down, because if Teeb gets away, then he'll be gone.
Then he'll be gone. Then he absolutely will be. At the top as well, we are seeing so many cars go side by side, Peter. We are focusing on Espen Erlandsen right now on P number 10 from the Team Bergen team. Espen Erlandsen under so much pressure at this stage. Heading towards the Interlagos. Really gonna see a car down the inside for him? Is he being nudged a little bit? No, he keeps it clean. This battle, Peter. Yes, he is actually being nudged from the back. That's a bit like NASCAR stuff. So Espen Erlandsen is in P number 10. At the back is Tobias Meisel. Wheel to wheel at Ferradura. Meisel has the inside line, but Erlandsen swoops to the outside, gets a place in. Tipton locks up. They are door to door as always, as they would be, and still clean at Pirino.
Yeah, plenty of brakes getting locked up there. Of course, remember, these cars do not have anti-lock brakes, and if you just don't get it right... We see Robin Auslan runs wide there, and Tipton moves to the outside of the 44 car. Tipton does get around. Looks like he's going to get it done. He does. Robin Auslan has to tuck back in, so little mistake there from the Swede Auslan, but back to the front. Look at the breakaway. Oh, Alexander Teeb just stretching it away from Maxim Ramstein, and Ramstein now dropping back as we look at Oscar Wilkins and Michael Pedersen battling it out.
Oh my goodness me, I'm almost getting jitters watching this one. Here we come then towards turn 1. This is going to be exciting. The outside he goes. Still pretty clean for them. Tipton is fighting with Robin Auslan at the back right there. You can see them going wheel to wheel, and Tipton gets the spot for himself. But man, Pedersen and Oscar Wilkins. Wilkins has his nose up ahead. Tipton, he was fighting with Auslan a bit too hard at the back. Now then, going past the trees towards the Interlagos. And Peter, Tipton is getting so close at the back. Man, Pedersen has an impending car right behind, but he tries to look to the inside, to the outside. He goes yet again back to the outside line now, swooping and swerving it on like a sloppy snake, but isn't able to get the position in and bite and get that venomous strike now.
Of course, Oscar Wilkins, the number 33, he has raced these cars. Oh, little tap from Pedersen, and then Tipton gets into the back. Almost a little domino effect there. But yes, Oscar Wilkins has driven these cars in the real world as well, and that experience will be really important, particularly when running under the cover of night the cover of darkness here. Incredible stuff here, just brawling away. How, like you say, Soumil, how on earth they can see where they're going at hope. It's incredible stuff. As Auslan getting his elbows out, he takes the inside line and makes it stick now in 9th place ahead of Tobias Meisel. But just one mistake and you will drop right down the order.
Even half a mistake at this stage, Peter, because Interlagos, as we all know, it isn't like your classic old Yas Marina circuit. If you go on the grass, poof, game over. And especially as we saw in last week's Porsche Esport, in fact yesterday's Porsche Esport Super Cup race as well, if you're on the grass and you put your foot on the throttle, yeah, crashes can happen, can't they? And at the top, team going wide, running wide actually, and the HM Engineering car. Maxim Ramstein is closing up through the darkness like a Power Ranger. He comes and has to sit behind for this one as well. So I kind of have a feeling, Peter, that Maxim Ramstein is going to play it that little bit safer, because although he may have put in lots of long hours practicing about this stuff, he will want to make the move at the right time. And Hugo Gallo now for Car Tribe team, he is fighting it out. They are going wheel to wheel as we head towards Ferradura.
Yeah, and Ryan Parkins right in the battle there as well in the 225 machine. Now remember, of course, Ryan was taken out by Hugo Gallo at one of the previous rounds, I think maybe Imola, so he will not be wanting to yield to Gallo, and he does not as well. He gets on up into, he's running there just in 13th place right now. Next up will be Quentin V. Alati in 12th. Look at this battle here between Rob and Auslan. This is incredible. Really, really impressive indeed. Espen Erlandsson's back there as well. He's 2 cars behind, and there's just battles all the way up and down the field. But it's interesting to see. The last time we saw a really big battle between Teeb and Maxim Ramstein, of course, was back at Road America, as we're right on board with Tobias Meisel. He goes to the outside. He's got the run on Auslan. Can he? We've not seen this move work very often. Auslan just that little bit better on the brakes there, and he snatches, he holds position through the Senna S's, and Tobias Meisel will have to try again.
Try again, error 404 for Tobias Meisel. The page that you're looking for, well, that move that you're looking for in this case, does not exist. And Robin Auslan doing a good job to shut the servers and keep the position for himself. And the back as well, we are seeing a half-hearted lunge at the Interlagos. I'm not sure about who that was in the darkness, but we shall get back to you on that very quickly. And actually, over here, Peter, the drivers, you know what, the darkness isn't putting them away. For some drivers, they may be thinking, yeah, you know what, maybe we can be a bit more cautious with this. This tri-little Apex is right. But there's another pack of the drivers who are thinking, hey, I don't care. If the others can't see, I can go for it. I can make those moves that I want to.
Yeah, certainly advantage to be gained. So let's take a little replay of the start then. Obviously very difficult to identify the cars, but you see a brilliant move there from Maxim Ramstein. Just comes across on the brakes, late on the brakes, and just about takes the lead from Alexander Teeb. And Teeb ever so close to losing the lead there. But I tell you what, in general, we've got one car off, but to have just one car off from that opening S's is impressive. As Gavin Halls, I think, got a big old help from a car behind there and into the, my apologies, Lewis Ward from Maniti Racing. My apologies. And oh, that's a big impact there.
That is nasty. That is nasty. I mean, had it happened in real life, you would have the paramedics rushing to check if Lewis Ward was alright, but it's the sim. He would be facing nothing more than a general shake of the steering wheel. So everything would be fine with Lewis Ward right now. But yeah, look at this. Look at this. Battle's going on at the pitch stretch. No, you don't do that. No, you don't do that. Pedersen hits hard on the pitch stretch. Flips around like a turtle would. And look at this. He is an impeding roadblock on the circuit. Stands halfway on his door. You don't want to crash there, folks. You just do not. He gets loose on his own, Peter. Bang!
Yeah, that's just a completely unnecessary incident there. Just turned right across, and miraculous that it didn't gather any other drivers, and that would have caused an absolute plane crash there. A bit of a pity there from Michael Pedersen. Just crashed. I wasn't quite sure actually who he clipped the back of there, but a strange one, to be honest. But as we get, who's off now? We've got you can see that's Lewis Ward again. Oh, disaster for the number 97. So what's happened to Lewis Ward there? Let's see if we can get a look at it through the Brazilian darkness here. So who's that in front of him? It's very tricky to see. I think it's one of the fiercely forward cars. He flashes the lights saying, "How dare you do that to me?" I wasn't sure if you could see the flashing lights there, but frustrating feature race for Lewis Ward. And Gavin Halls, he's got up to 16th place from pretty much the back of the grid.
Yes, there's been so much going on there. Grabbing places for Gavin Halls has been something he's been able to do with a great degree of ease. Oh, there's a lunger! There's a lunger! They make contact yet again. Gavin Halls almost got spun around. Sheesh, Peter. That... you know what? I'm actually getting to my squeaky girl voice right now. The battles are just so exciting. Garson Van Eyck realizes that, oh, you know what? There was actually a car right there. I could have made contact. And so he drops back a little bit, being a bit more cautious. Man, Quinton Violate now as well in the heat of these battles. Violate to Ferradura he goes, single file right now, but I'm sure that's not going to be the case in a couple of corners. He's being chased by Tomas Meisel and he goes to the inside, Quinton Violate, but does not get the position because Robin Auslan closes the door at the right time. Closes one of the Swedish IKEA doors, I would say.
Absolutely, yeah, the masters of furniture and carpentry in that part of the world, but... yes, you went full Hannah Montana there for a minute, Soumil, but I feel we've got a new nickname for Gavin Halls. We'll call him the Vampire because he just comes alive at night.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I think he'll like it.
I'm sure he will.
So, we're back at the front then. Maxim Ramstein putting the pressure on Alexander Teeb, and this is just another blockbuster battle for us here in the PorscheSport Carrera Cup. Don't forget, every Thursday, a new episode of the PorscheSport podcast where we'll be giving all the reaction, all of the news from the PorscheSport Carrera Cup and all things Porsche Racing. Join myself and my co-host Luke Holroyd, Kat Impey and Jack Werrell for us to discuss all the action. And Soumil, I feel we're going to have lots to talk about because here comes another Teeb versus Ramstein classic. And Alexander Teeb, he's so smooth, he makes so few mistakes, and must be so difficult to pass.
Exactly. I mean, Alexander Teeb and Team Redline, they're not the best sim racing team or the most popular sim racing team in the world for no reason. They know what they're doing and they've got some proper quality drivers. And Ramstein is one of those quality drivers as well. He's not for Team Redline, mind you, he's for HM Engineering, but he's got the same level of intensity and the same level of skills as Alexander Teeb. And that is why we love this sort of racing, because when you have two equals and two very highly rated equals going toe to toe with each other, yeah, expect some fireworks. And especially if those fireworks are in the dark sky of Interlagos, you see them shine even brighter at night.
And don't forget Dylan Burst. Dylan Burst is, make no mistake, he is right in the battle here as well. As we see, we look back towards Justin Tipton trying to get past Oscar Wilkins. Tipton in the pink wheels, Oscar Wilkins in the black and red car. Side by side they go then. Wilkins just about gets the edge, and there's Robin Auslan on the outside. Quinton Violate on the inside. This is going to get very tight indeed as they head down towards the turn one. There's four of them, all on different lines here. This is going to bottleneck into turn one. They go then. Tipton on the outside, and oh, he runs onto the grass. Oh, here we go. Oh my word. Who now? How? Oh, there we go. Yes, sorry. Quinton Violate having a spin. I thought, no way has he hung on to that one. I thought, where's he gone? Oh, that was almost inevitable, Soumil.
That was not even almost, that was inevitable in the end. So, Violate has the inside line, and just the deftest of touches from Robin Auslan. Man, I've never seen cars go 3 wide at Senna S's, and that was bound to end badly. And now then, this battle is not over. Quinton Violate is in the heat of everything yet again. Look at this then. Here they come. That's a couple of cars up ahead. They're going side by side as always. And I say as always because that's going to happen for the entirety of this race. And now that's Nelson Costa de Souza. And is that going to be...
Oh, Tipton's rolled! Sorry, Soumil. Sorry, Tipton is rolled. And oh, I just saw pink wheels spinning round and round and round. Oh my goodness me. What has happened there? I think he gets a big old help. He does. And then bang from Meyer. Erlinson, sorry, and round onto his roof he goes. what a shame for Justin Tipton. Did nothing wrong. Got spun around by Auslan, I think, and then whack. Erlandson had nowhere to go, and I think, I tell you what, that's the second tap in one lap from Auslan. I think the man from Gavel, well, the judge's gavel, or the race steward's gavel, will be slamming down, ordering him to go into pit lane, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what, Peter? That is when you see the darkness coming into perspective, because normally in the night, I don't think Robert Auslan would make moves like that one. I mean, he's almost impeccable on the track, apart from the starts where sometimes he can be pushed around here and there. But yeah, that's what happened, right? You can barely see anything. You can barely see your apexes. You can barely see the car up ahead. So incidents like this were bound to happen. It was a case of when and how many. From the looks of things, we are seeing quite a big body count here today.
Yep, you called it, Soumil, that it was going to be a race of attrition, but look who comes to join the party. Ryan Parkins, the number 225, he's now right behind Auslan. So Auslan in 8th, Parkins in 9th, and we know how good Ryan Parkins can race. He's, of course, the Porsche Club Great Britain sim racing champion, drives a Porsche himself in the real world, drives a lovely 2007 manual Cayman S, a proper, connoisseur's choice, I would say. None of this PDK rubbish.
Well, PDK is for people like me who don't really know how to drive as well. So perhaps we can give we can give the others a bit more leverage in that case.
Oh, Soumil. Oh, my.
I'm taking it on my face. So.
Anyone from Porsche watching? Sorry. But yeah, give me a manual any day of the week. I think that's the purest choice, isn't it? Anyway, and yep, right enough. Well, the stewards may be listening to us. Robin Auslan called into pit lane for a drive-through penalty. I think, to be honest, Soumil, that was inevitable. Two incidents like that in one lap or in half a lap can't be accepted by the race stewards. Exactly,
they're just going to be saying, come on in, mate, that's enough of you. And yeah, big incidents by Robin Auslan, really tricky to drive in the darkness. And now, well, it doesn't matter to these guys, does it? Because Sam Coulter and Kieran Harrison, if there's one thing you can be certain about, that these two guys will always be fighting. Just like a lovely bedtime story in the night, these guys are going to have a happy ending, hopefully. Now then, Kieran Harrison is the car who we ride on board with. You can see Sam Coulter though, so that's a good thing. You're not completely in pitch darkness. When you're at that kind of a gap, you can see the car up ahead, but the apexes, look, Peter, they're barely visible for any of them. Coulter very smartly hitting each one of those apexes, quite like one of those beginner challenges that you have in F1 2012, when you can come in and it says hit all the 12 apexes on the track. Coulter nailing every single one of them, and that is why Kieran Harrison is not able to pass. But Teeb's
gone back to third.
Yeah,
what has happened to Alexander Teeb? Well, in third spot, so a very, very rare mistake from Alexander Teeb. He runs wide onto the grass, gets very, very wild. Wow, that's incredible car control. Viewers, if that didn't look spectacular, I can tell you it is. To keep the car out the wall there, massive oversteer moment. Yes, brilliant stuff. We're going to get an onboard look at the opposite lock he has to put in here. So he gets wide onto the grass, and the car goes, oh, I want to slide now. And look at that, massive, as they say, a dab of Oppo. That was more than a dab of Oppo. That was, well, hangs on to it and lives to fight another day. But has that allowed Maxim Ramstein to escape? I tell you what, for Alexander Teeb, Dylan Burson second might be his new favourite deputy.
Yeah, exactly, and that must be a brown underpants moment right there for Alexander Teeb, and he's still able to keep it on track in P number 3. It's somewhat mysterious, but now, Peter, 11 and a half minutes left to go for the end of this one. Tell you what though, it's not done yet. It's absolutely not done yet. Dylan Burson is closing up to Maxim Ramstein right now, and be it light or darkness, Interlagos or Imola, they are gonna fight. They're gonna fight till the absolute end. And for Kieran Harrison and Maxim Ramstein in Engine Engineering, it has been a good season for them so far. Can Ramstein go one step further, solidify the gap, put his name on the winner's trophy yet again? There's not a lot of time left for him now.
Well, remember, Alexander Teeb came into this round on 302 points, Maxim Ramstein on 273, so if you put the checkered flag out now, that gap would close up quite a bit in this race. But I tell you what, Dylan Burse is not going to let him have this at all. I think Dylan Burse, he'll have seen Alexander Teeb go off and make a mistake, and he thinks, if I can get on the back of Maxim Ramstein, I can make him make a mistake too. So as we see Ryan Parkins going to the outside line on Oscar Wilkins, and it's just about tucks in, but Ryan is a clean racer. I think actually it's Tobias Meisel actually who's in front of him, not Oscar Wilkins. Let's see, number 15. That is, it is Tobias Meisel, my apologies. Now, Tobias Meisel, a kart racer from Nuremberg, so has the RaceKraft. Remember, Ryan Parkins has no racing experience at all, but super quick in the sim, and this is his best race of the season so far, and just shows when he gets a clean run at it, he is really quick indeed, and he is putting a lot of pressure here on Tobias Meisel.
And pressure he has to put if he wants to get those big results. The big one, and it'll be especially even prouder when it happens in pitch darkness here at Interlagos. It's a track that can spring up challenges when it's dry and in the light as well. Especially though, when you put it in the pitch darkness, it gets even tougher. Mika de Pato! Oh, wow, that got really close for a second over there.
Yeah, he thought about it, Ryan Parkins, and actually just having to back out that move, that's put him back a little bit into the clutches of Erlandsen and Espen Erlandsen for Team Bergen. But look back at the front then, Maxim Ramstein, here you go then. Here's that pressure we were talking about from Dylan Burse, really filling Maxim Ramstein's mirrors with all of that headlight brightness.
Yeah.
And well, this is just going to give Alexander Teeb just the chance just to chase them down a little bit. There is a bit of a gap, but wait till they start battling. That'll close the gap quicker than you can say. So Maxim Ramstein, though, we know how good he is. He's getting a lot of pressure here coming around to the mid part of the circuit. 8 minutes to go, so plenty of racing here at Interlagos.
Oh, there's still a lot left in the tank. There's still a lot left in the tank. That's what Mark Henry, the wrestler, would say. Let's see what these guys can produce. They have produced some dramatic races so far. Tell you what though, I have a gut feeling that this one is just going to be a part of the PorscheSport Carrera Cup epic races list. That's every single one of them is. Well, that gives you an idea about what the championship is like, isn't it?
It is. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch and to call the races. So much entertainment and amazing skill from the drivers. I mean,
Indeed.
really good indeed. And on the most part, brilliant respect and clean racing, which is what we really like to see as well. Maxim Ramstein then, really asking a lot of questions now of Dylan Burse. He almost got a little bit of the hurry up there. Dylan Burse got a little bit closer at the end, at the beginning of this lap, but look at I wonder how much the draft's going to make an effect here. Maxim Ramstein, of course, these cars you can play about with the wing on the setup, so that can really affect the drag. And look at that, Dylan Burse right behind them again. So that's gone from 4 or 5 car lengths to not even 1 car length just along the back straight there. Sorry, the front straight, my apologies.
Yeah, exactly. They will close up, and they will close up big time with all these battles. And again, Peter, they're just rubbing on the curbs, showing all the aggression in the world. And for sure, there will be a lot of lumps and bumps along the way. The question is, how can they keep it clean? And now Espen Erlandsen, yet again. Espen Erlandsen seems to be in the heat of every single battle. I can watch every single time. So for Team Bergen and Espen Erlandsen, they're right in the thick of the smoothie. They want to be the part of all the battles. And of course, if you're paying for the whole series, might as well enjoy the whole series as well. And so they are then involved in this one for P number 10. He does get a whole heap of points. But who's he fighting? He is fighting Artem Grabal for P number 10. And Artem Grabal, mind you folks, if I'm not mistaken, he won the consolation race, so he knows what he's doing. He knows this track. Then he also has a bit of advantage of driving in the darkness, because that is what it was like in the consolation race as well, mind you. He has more track time. At the front though, some battles. Tobias Meisel almost makes contact, Peter.
Yeah, and Ryan Parkins has also got Tobias Meisel off camera as well, so he is now up to 7th place. A great run from the PorscheSport driver. Brilliant stuff there from Ryan Parkins, but Tobias Meisel defending strongly from the Team Bergen pair there as well. And this is just a frantic battle. This isn't even the midfield, this is close to the front as well as well, fantastic stuff. But
exactly.
The Ryan Parkins now, can he break away? If he can, that would be really helpful to try and not, because as soon as you get involved in one of those brawls, it's just not a lottery, but it's so much easier to get caught up in a big incident.
Exactly. I mean, you can just make one tiny error, as we've been saying time and again. And look at this one. Lunge down the inside at turn 1. Perhaps he's going to keep it clean. Yes, he does keep it clean, but the payoff of that, no position gain. Nothing ventured, nothing gained as well at the same time.
Yeah, so we're right on board then with Anders Meyer, the number 20, Team Birkin. He's right in the draft of Tobias Meisel. Tobias Meisel just moves over on the straight and Meyer looks to the inside. You can tuck it down tight here and get the gas on. Look, there you go. He wanted all 485 horsepower at once, and well, Mr. Porsche said no thank you unless you want to give it a big slide, and that is exactly what he did. That was almost Harry King style there, the British Carrera Cup driver who likes getting the car loose and up on its tiptoes.
Exactly, and you know what? It's a classic sight for every single Porsche. From back in the 1930s, when you had the Auto Union cars designed by Dr. Ferdinand Porsche as well. They, in their time, rear-wheel drive Grand Prix cars in a time where the tyres were as thin as a cycle's wheel. So imagine that. It's a classic Porsche trait, that beautiful thick rear end sliding out and about. And if you're a skilled driver, you can certainly control a Porsche. And that's a big if then. When we are seeing two very skilled drivers dueling at the very top. It's a bit like watching Neymar and Messi fight against each other. At the very top, two top drivers, and add Ronaldo in the mix as well, because Alexander Teeb has joined the party. Player 3 has connected. Now then, it's time for a big fight.
Yeah, I just feel like this is just an interlude. It's just a brief appetizer before a proper battle. It seems to me that all three are quite comfortable at this pace right now. Alexander Teeb has made his way to the back of Dylan Burst now. Maxim Ramstein still leads. But I think when we come on to the final laps, none of these three guys are going to accept anything other than a win. And right now it's Maxim Ramstein that has that leading position. But for Dylan Burst, he clearly has a bit of a straight line speed advantage, particularly in that draft. So if he can get onto the back of Ramstein coming out of that final corner, then he can maybe make a move down into turn 1. And also, if he does that, Alexander Teeb will be right behind him to get on the back of the train. But a little mistake there from Alexander Teeb, and that has allowed those crucial car lengths to stretch out. And Alexander Teeb flashing the lights. Interesting stuff. So I wonder what's a bit of an oversteer moment there as well from Alexander Teeb. So it wasn't anything that Dylan Burst did there to upset him, just maybe a little bit of distraction tactics. That is fascinating.
Yeah, so Alexander Teeb perhaps giving a message. Hey you, listen up you. You might have had a bit of a gap now with me, but that's a flash from my lights. You know that I'm right there, and I'm a part of Team Redline, and they, folks, are probably one of the biggest teams and the biggest names in sim racing. So Teeb showing everyone that he's the man, he is right there, and he will come back fighting. And the time is running out now. Burst going wide on the AstroTurf. Side by side though. Espen Erlandsen yet again. He's the man in the thick of everything. Here we come to the inside line. Here's for P number 10. We're coming up. Buffeting. Still side by side. Erlandsen gets the inside line. Is he going to have the grip like Verstappen would in 2016? No. He's under pressure though from a Wild Animals car at the back. It's all dark. Artem Grabau doing some NASCAR-esque bump drafting to the inside, and Decido de Lago he comes. Grabau for Team Wild Animals. 4P number 10 for the position, and he gets it done.
Brilliant stuff there. Absolutely brilliant wheel-to-wheel action here in the PorscheSport Carrera Cup, and this is the battle for 10th. It looks like the battle for the lead. So fierce. Artem Grabau, our consolation race winner, well, he's making the most of that brilliant grid spot he got for the feature race. And well, we're just now got 1 minute and 38 seconds remaining in this motor race, and back at the front, Maxim Ramstein and Dylan Burst. Well, I tell you what, they're actually pulling, it looks to me like they're pulling an ever so slight margin on Alexander Teeb. He's still there, but they've certainly broken a few car lengths on the Team Redline drivers. So Alexander Teeb, just maybe a little bit of frustration creeping in. We saw just after he flashed the lights, just put a little bit too much power in, a little bit of oversteer, and that killed his drive up the front straight. But Maxim Ramstein, I tell you what, Soumil, considering the quality of drivers behind him and the pressure they'll be putting on, he is putting on a good drive. And here's his teammate, Kieran Harrison, battling with Sam Coiter, and they are in the pitch dark here, side by side. Coiter on the inside, Kieran Harrison on the outside. They drag race down the straight they go. Who is going to better as they go into Decido del Lago? Oh, Coitert's got the preferable line, but oh, does he run wide? Oh, he's getting a little nudge there from Harrison, and oh, this is incredible. Absolutely incredible action.
More of this, please, sir. Coiter for the WIP Volante team has his nose up ahead, but Kieran Harrison is saying, yeah, you have to jump on me right now, but I'm going to have to jump around the outside, and so he does. Looks, lunges. Harrison has a bit of a tiptoeing moment, his rear end snapping around, so Harrison has the inside line. Oh dearie me, oh dearie me. This should not end well at Bico de Pato, but it is going to be. Harrison almost getting the inside line. They almost touch for a second. The white flag is in the air, Peter, and someone's gone off. Inevitably, someone has gone off. The big question is, who is it?
Oh, I think it might be Ryan Parkins, but we've got the finish then. Ryan Parkins in 11th. Oh, gets a big barge there from one of the, I think it's maybe Erlandson, but back at the front, let's get a replay of the finish. Maxim, oh, now hold on a second, folks. We're just going to confirm the result of this race and just how this finished. We'll get a replay of how our leaders came over the line in just a second for you, just to see how that all ended. So here we go then. Let's have a look. So yes, Maxim Ramstein then, your winner of the feature race here in the PorscheSport Carrera Cup. Incredible drive. Dylan Burson second and Alexander Teeb in third. So not the best day for Alexander Teeb. That little mistake being very costly indeed. And what a pity for Ryan Parkins, just getting that barge out the way. And look at all the cars that have been able to go past. 4 or 5 cars getting the impetus there. And we're looking at the I think that's the 15 of Tobias Meisel getting drag race to the line there. Oh, what a race indeed there, Soumil. Quite difficult to keep an eye on the cars in the dark, but amazing action.
Oh yes, indeed. What can I say? It was hard to track at time speed, as you rightly mentioned early on, but wow, the kind of racing that the series always has. Tell you what, this probably is my most serious series that I'm commentating on, or even watching for that matter. It just delivers on such a regular basis that you want to come back to it, and back to it, and back to it every single time. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's been absolutely incredible action all day long and all season long here in the PorscheSport Carrera Cup. I mean, today, this particular circuit, Interlagos, is so tricky, so technical. And yeah, mastered today by Maxim Ramstein for HM Engineering. He'll be delighted with that, I'm sure, as he comes back to pit lane to park up after a great day's racing at the track. So we should have the results for you any moment now to run through how all your favourite drivers did. So Maxim Ramstein, the winner by 0.7 of a second from Dylan Burst. Right behind him, in third, the championship leader, Alexander Teeb for Team Redline. But that gap been reduced quite dramatically by Maxim Ramstein today. Sam Coiter was fourth alongside Kieran Harrison in fifth. A little bit further back, Oscar Wilkins was 6th, Tobias Meisel 7th, Artem Grabau 8th, Espen Erlandson 9th, and Quentin Vialati, the Frenchman, rounds out the top 10. Really unfortunate for Ryan Parkins in 11th, getting barged aside there at the last part of the race. 12th was Nelson Costa de Souza, 13th Gavin Halls, an unbelievable drive from him, definitely solidifying his name as the Vampire coming alive at night. 14th was Kirill Kolobuksov, 15th Robin Auslan, who unfortunately given a drive-through penalty for a couple of incidents. Karsten Banite was 16th, Hugo Gallo 17th, Thomas Guldalion in 18th, Bastian Matler in 19th, 20th was Jose Manuel Padin. 21st place was Hendrick Lichtenhagen, 22nd Clement Andriot, 23rd Anders Meyer, 24th Tristan Marks, 25th Josh Clogg, 26th Dane Baird, 27th Justin Tipton, unfortunately being tipped over, 28th was Michael Pedersen, 29th Lewis Ward, and finally for Kairos competition, Ivan Harasta. So, Soumil, do we have any of the drivers wanting to come in and have a little chat with us?
We do indeed. So who do we bring in first? I think it would be better if you brought in the leader, Maxim Ramstein, in with us. So let's actually bring him in. So Maxim, we've got Peter here with you.
Maxim Ramstein, and a fantastic drive to win that incredible race at Interlagos. I tell you what, it was hard for us to follow in the commentary box. What on earth was it like from the driver's seat in that darkness?
Yeah, it was dark, I can tell you that much. But no, seriously, with the headlights, it was, after some getting used to it, it was like driving in the daytime, honestly, so it did not bother me at all. But I can imagine for the broadcast, you probably didn't see much.
Yes, it's certainly given us one more excuse for making mistakes anyway, that's for sure. Of course, speaking of mistakes, Alexander Teeb making just that tiny error running wide at the final corner and getting through. What was your thoughts at that point?
Yeah, uncharacteristic of him. I was surprised, and when you're following somebody that close, it's tricky because you kind of follow them. But I was able to see his mistake coming and keep out of the grass there because, in practice, plenty of times going off there, it's very dangerous. I think he did a great job keeping out of the wall, actually. That's difficult.
He certainly did, yeah. The onboard shot, I've never seen so much oversteer in one go. Of course, that narrows up the gap in the championship between you and Alexander Teeb. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we're off to Zandvoort next time out, a home field race for you.
Yeah, that is a home race for me. I'm really looking forward to that track. That's the only track I actually got some real life experience on a bike, not a car, but yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that one.
Oh, tell us about that. I've actually been to Zandvoort a couple of times, never gone round it. I can imagine on a motorcycle it's an incredible experience. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing through the dunes. It's like a roller coaster. The compressions, the corner schijfvlak, the fast right-hander. Yeah, it's amazing. Once you ride a bike there, you know what the bikes are made for.
I can imagine. And what type of motorcycle is it that you have, Maxim?
It's actually just a street bike I take for track days sometime. That's a street triple, a Triumph.
Oh, a lovely bike indeed. And that will certainly grab your attention, right? Riding one of those around Zandvoort. Well, hopefully that preparation will play in handy for Zandvoort in a couple of weeks' time. But after the win, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to live here on Racespot TV?
Yeah, thanks again to HM Engineering, the team. Kieran is really pushing each other all the time and having a good time, looking good in the team championship as well in this series. So looking forward to the next rounds. Thanks, guys.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for coming to join us, Maxim, and go and enjoy the win.
Thank you.
So that was Maxim Ramstein, and his championship contender, Alex Teeb, is with my colleague, Soumil Arora.
Alex, firstly, P number 3 for you. Congratulations on the result. But I have a feeling that you may not be very satisfied with the same, would you?
No, I'm absolutely not happy. I mean, it was just a stupid mistake, and things like this shouldn't happen.
Can you tell us more about that mistake? What really happened there? Perhaps you had a bit of an oversteer moment, I suppose?
No, more understeer. That's why the problem I had. So that's why I ran a bit wide on the exit of the last corner. Maybe it looks like I had oversteer because I was trying to force the car to turn, but yeah.
Well, some days you win, some days you don't, and this one, well, sadly on the wrong side of things. But still, on the whole, it was quite a decent weekend for you. I mean, P3 is not a bad place for you to be in. Alexander, what was it like just driving in the dark? Because we could barely see a thing in the broadcast. Was it the same for you behind the wheel as well?
To be honest, I was struggling a lot with the darkness because I didn't expect it to race in the dark. But I think it was okay. I mean, adapted quickly to these conditions, but it was just this little mistake which cost me the win. And but also in the quali I was struggling a lot before because I had just like 30 or 40 minutes of practice before the race. And that's definitely not enough.
No, well, keeping that in mind, you've still got quite a decent result in the end. And next up, Alex, is going to be a lot brighter, Zandvoort, that's for sure. Is it a track that you've had experience in before? And if so, is it something that you favour quite a lot?
Yeah. Is it Zandvoort? I thought it's...
I guess
is it Villeneuve? Oh no, it's Montreal.
Ah, okay, interesting.
the next
What about
one.
that track then?
Yeah, I really like this track, especially jumping over these high curbs and these sausage curbs. Is really fun. The track is very tight in the first two sectors, so I really like that.
Well, that should be interesting. Once again, Alexander, is there anyone who'd like to thank? Anyone who'd like to give a shout out to here today?
Yeah, of course, to my team and our sponsors.
Absolutely. Well, tough luck, Alexander, for this one. Hopefully the next one fares better for you. Thank you so much for joining us here in the broadcast team.
Good night.
Good night, Alexander. Have a good one. Well, that, folks, was Alexander T for Team Redline, evidently not really happy with beat number 3, and that's the kind of high standards he sets for himself.
He certainly does, yeah. And joining us in the commentary box right now is Dylan Burse, who finished on the podium in second position. Dylan, a brilliant day out at Interlagos for you today. Tell us about your thoughts on your day.
Yeah, I'm stoked with it at the moment. I've came in with not as much practice as I normally do, probably 2 hours or so, which is still a lot to get used to the current track and stuff. But yeah, I was really happy with my pace in the end today. I'm stoked that I was up there with them guys.
Absolutely. Now, looking a little bit into your background, I believe you race Hyundai XLs in the real world at home.
Sick.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, they're pretty much entry level, really cheap racing in Australia. They got about 72 horsepower, our donk does. And yeah, they're really fun, really close racing, and you get huge grids.
Now tell us, which is more fierce, the XLs or this?
The XL by far.
Does it get a bit spicy?
Yeah, it does. Nah, probably the Porsche though, in the end.
And tell us about, of course, we see a lot of drivers now who do sim racing at a good level as well as real world racing. Has that experience, does it transfer back and forward? Is it helping both parts of your racing exploits?
Yeah, definitely. Because I'm 14, so I haven't really been in the car for much. I've only been able to get a few practice days before my races, so I've really been on the sim quite a bit, just so I can sort of get used to driving cars and stuff. So yeah, it's helped a lot. So does racing, because I've been racing karts and stuff as well before cars. So they've helped me get used to sim racing a bit faster in the end.
Oh, fantastic! Well, we wish you all the very best with the rest of the season, and hopefully we'll see you at Bathurst one day. Hopefully, Dylan. Now, before we let you go from our podium interview, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to live here on Racespot TV?
I'd like to give a shout out to Vispa and also Roche Paper.
Fantastic stuff. Well, thanks so much for coming to join us, Dylan, and hopefully we'll have another chat to you in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, thanks guys. Cheers.
So that was Dylan Burse, our second place finisher, one of the 3 podium runners who came to join us. And there you go, there's confirmation. I'm really sorry, Maxim Ramstein, I've sent you off to go and get practicing at Zandvoort, but actually it's Montreal. My apologies there. We go to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, some street racing in 2 weeks' time, and then 2 weeks after that, off to Zandvoort before our season finale at Spa on the 18th of October. And I tell you what, this battle between Maxim Ramstein and Alexander Thiebe is going to rage on to the very end of the season, I'm sure. Soumil, final thoughts before we sign off for the evening?
Oh well, Peter, it got a bit dark and dusty for quite a while over there, but the racing, yeah, it was just the same. And when I mean just the same, just as good. I can't wait to see how the psychology of the drivers changes actually when they go next time out to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. That's a street track. There, you don't have as much room as you do at Interlagos. So the X Racing is going to be just that little bit more exciting with the stakes being even higher. But on the whole, Peter, I say it once, I say it again, this championship is probably becoming my favourite.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's been an absolute pleasure to call the action here in the PorscheSport Carrera Cup live on Racespot TV. Don't forget to join us in 2 weeks' time, 7 p.m. GMT on the 20th of September. So you can enjoy that. It's actually Le Mans weekend. So yeah, even after the Le Mans 24 hours is over, come and join us here on Racespot TV for some more brilliant action. Thanks so much to my esteemed colleague Soumil Arora for his company in the commentary box today, and also our producer Hugo Luis bringing us these amazing images and graphics. It's simply black magic, and we couldn't do it without his help. Don't forget to check out our sponsor PorscheSport.com, the world's leading independent Porsche news website. Check that out, and don't forget also to subscribe for free to the Porsche Sport podcast. We've got lots of exciting stuff coming up on the podcast in the next few weeks. We have a new episode every Thursday, and we have some star interviews coming up soon as well. So be sure to check that out via your chosen podcast provider. That's all we've got time for tonight on Racespot TV. We will see you in 2 weeks' time at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Thanks for watching.